All right, here we go.
Ooh.
Aries Spears.
Ooh.
Welcome back. Welcome back. You're kind of hot right now.
This is special, baby.
This is special.
Yeah.
You're trending. Still are.
Number one.
I know you're loving it.
Yeah.
I know you're loving it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so let's just talk about...
I'm not bothered by it.
I know you're not.
Yeah.
I know you. You're not bothered by it.
Right.
Well, let's talk about what everyone's talking about right now.
Uh-huh.
Your comments about Lizzo.
Yes.
Okay. Would you like to repeat what you said about her?
Well, I mean, I don't know that I need to repeat it because it's a reason why it's trending. But I will say this. Listen, man, people felt like, you know, the guy asked me specifically about her music, and then I went totally left. And people have to understand two things. Number one, no matter what, this badge that I wear called comedy, I'm with this through thick and thin. This oath that I've taken called humor, I don't betray that. And this is how this works. When you're a public figure in the public eye, and you do the things like that Lizzo does, where you come to a Laker game and you show your whole ass in front of children and families, you are fodder for jokes. And for me, I'm always thinking joke first. I'm a comic purist. And there's no way that you can have it both ways. There's no way that you could be in the public eye, be a public figure, do the things you do, and not expect a comic to respond. And I responded. And despite a lot of the backlash that I've gotten, mostly from women, I have gotten what feels like an equally amount of support from men and women. Because, and the general feeling was, you said what everybody's been thinking. We just didn't say it. So I said it. And listen, as far as an artist, Lizzo's phenomenal. You can't deny that. But like I said, for me, it's comedy first. I had a couple of big girls hit me in there. He don't like big girls. That's not true. Let me tell you something. I think Jill Scott is one of the sexiest, most beautiful women, not to mention besides the talent, just gorgeous. When she did that movie with Chadwick Boseman, Get On Up, the James Brown story, and she had the black dress on and she got on the bed and said, "Get on up here, Mr. Dynamite." And when she does the insurance commercials, where she sings Nationwide, is gorgeous. I never wanted to make it seem like I was against big girls, or I'm saying big girls can't be sexy or beautiful, because they can, and some are. But when you got your whole ass out, I mean, I'm just saying there's something to be said, even non-big girls, classy, elegance, sophistication. I don't know that you with your whole ass out twerking at a Laker game. How do I ignore that? And more importantly, another two things. You know, we could talk about, and women have made fun of and had laughs at the expense of Rick Ross and DJ Khaled, and men when they got their shirts off and they big and huge. And again, you screaming y'all want equality, so why can't that work both ways? And I think my bigger message was, look, man, it kind of is frustrating to me when I hear women with the yes queen, yes slay, girl power, sisterhood and unity, when it's like, okay, I understand that. And Lizzo's confidence is commendable. And the fact that there's unity for women and sisterhood in terms of body confidence and beauty and you know, love within thyself is commendable. But don't let so much celebration and silence detract you from the fact that this shit is dangerous. It's unhealthy. It's not good. I myself, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. And you know, the one thing I think in the interview that I did with The Art of Dialogue that kind of bothered me was I made a lot of jokes about myself, and I think they didn't keep those. You know, if I'm certainly going to make fun of people, then I'm certainly not above being made fun of, especially towards myself. And I made fun of myself. I specifically said, listen, man, if I were to get up right now and take all my clothes off, I got the body of Dolomite, nigga. From the side, butt naked to the side, I look like Esther Roll, Florida Evans. You know what I mean? I'm a mess naked. And I made fun of myself. So, you know, all is fair in love and war.
Well, Lizzo somewhat responded at the VMAs.
Right.
When she was accepting her award, you know, she got on stage and said, people tell me to clap back. You know, why don't you clap back? And she said, because, bitch, I'm winning, ho.
Right. Well, the funny thing to me was when people sent me those videos and clips, and, you know, this is the internet. People put shit together. Lizzo claps back at Aries. She never said my name.
Right.
Now, was she talking about me? Put the pieces together. More than likely. But she never said my name. But I ain't the only motherfucker making Lizzo fat jokes. So she was addressing all her haters. I almost wish she did say my name to really make it specific. But she didn't say my name. And, you know, it's funny to me, too, because, you know, the women that hit me up in my Instagram was like, yeah, when they showed me the clip of her winning the award, I know you mad, huh? You punch in the air. Why would I be? Like, why would I be mad? I love it because these women act like Lizzo's success is their success. Did she invite you bitches to the after party? Is she splitting record points with you and royalties? Is she paying your rent and your mortgage, putting food on your table and taking care of you? You know what I'm saying? And paying your bills and feeding your kids and clothing your kids? Like, calm down. How people worship celebrities so much is just beyond me. You know, here's the funny thing. Like, Eddie Murphy, if he didn't teach us anything else, it's like that joke he made in Delirious back in the 80s. Something about singers, man, people go crazy. I did Stevie Wonder, people roll up on me. You the motherfucker that did Stevie Wonder? That shit wasn't funny, motherfucker. Don't you ever let me see you do that shit again. I'll fuck you up. Stevie Wonder's a musical genius. And it made me go, here are the singers you apparently can't fuck with. Beyonce, Rihanna, and Lizzo. Because, you know, between them three, between the women and the strong J's, strong J, y'all, strong J, they come after you. And I'm just like, come on, man, I'm old school, man. I'm born 75, 80s baby, Pryor era, Eddie era, Def Jam era. I'm 47. I do what I do, man. My cocaine uncut, Bolivian straight yayo. Chi-Chi, get the yayo.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think there's one thing if you are a heavyset person and you dress modestly, there probably would not be a lot of comments and so forth. But at the point that you start to undress yourself, like, you know, Bert Kreischer, who I've had on my show, who takes his shirt off and every stand-up, people make fat jokes about him. I don't think that he's bothered by those jokes. Men are never immune.
For some reason, women get to be immune and at the same time scream equality. So again, it don't work like that. You can't pick and choose what works for you.
Well, yeah. I mean, and you're right. She went to, was it the Lakers game where she wore a thong and so forth?
No, I don't know if it was a thong. It was like assless pants.
It was basically her whole ass out. But to be fair, if, I don't know, Beyonce had her whole ass out, I don't think we'd have a problem with that.
Well, that's a different argument. I mean,
a different ass.
That's that own inner turmoil. That's like, black skins versus dark skins versus light skins. That's a whole nother fight.
Well, no, I'm not talking about skin tone.
No, I'm not talking about skin tone either. I'm talking about skinny women versus big women in terms of who can get away with what. If it should be bad for one, it should be bad for the other. And I personally agree with that. Now, to my visual eye, what am I looking at? And I'm more like, ooh, versus ooh. I want to say real quick too, like first of all, and I want this to really be known. Listen, I got love for women. I respect women. That being said, and I will say some women, when it comes to, and I sent a post out about this on Instagram, when it comes to logic and sense, women come up short. They deal in emotion and anger. And it's like when they get upset, they try to hurt you with the thing that works for you the most. Like when they break up with a guy, that's why you got a little dick and you can't fuck. Bitch, you was with me for years. Now my dick is little and I can't fuck. Nigga, Aries, you unfunny, you unattractive. That's subjective. That's not a fact. That you're not dealing in facts. You're dealing in emotion and anger. You know what I'm saying? Oh, don't no girl want to fuck you? Look at you. So you mean to tell me for 32 years in show business, you know what I mean? Successful, famous, got a little bit of paper. sexy. I don't get no pussy. I ain't got no pussy. Or they go, if you get pussy, you pay for it. Now this is why I don't talk to camera. Can I talk to camera? Ladies, listen. Whether men care to admit this or not, this is the truth. All men pay for pussy, whether it's directly or indirectly. Any woman worth her weight in value is not fucking you for free. There's a courtship process. And between dinner, movies, shows, outings, drinks, comedy shows, whatever, we paying for it. And even after all that, some men still might not get no pussy. So whether you pay directly or whether you go, yo, here's some cash, give me some ass. That's not an L. That's a win. I don't know why y'all think that's an L for a man. You pay for pussy, I won. And like Charlie Sheen said, you don't pay to fuck, you pay him to leave. The arrogance of women sometimes to think that we feel and think and respond and act as you do. We're different creatures. That's not an L.
Well, some people had a reaction to your comments, one of which was Mike Epps. So he went on, I think, the Shade Room in the comments.
Right.
And he said, when speaking about you, he said he a straight up bitch and needs to get his ass whooped. Look at his skin. He looked dirty and sick and has not been on TV since VladTV.
And still relevant. Still selling out shows. Still packing them in. You know, listen, Mike is salty at me from the last stupid shit he said, which was, cops kill us because we kill us. So it's like, word. So the Tulsa, Oklahoma City murders, what happened then? Black people were well-to-do, self-sufficient. We were thriving. We didn't need white folks. And they still burned our shit down. They still killed us. So my point to Mike then was, don't put out dangerous propaganda. For you to try to say that somehow cops kill niggas because niggas kill niggas is the most ridiculous shit I ever heard. And I checked him on that, and the majority of people with any amount of common sense knew I was right. So he was embarrassed by that. But my response to him, as far as, my comedic ability, listen, people don't really walk out of my shows. I've been from city to city, and people's like, yo, Mike was garbage. So I'm going to say again to Mike, hey, Mike, tone down the volume on the shiny suits and expensive jewelry. Step your funny game up, nigga. That's where it counts. Get some dirt on you, pimp. And at the end of the day, I'm not saying people haven't walked out on my shows, but if they have, it's because not that I was funny. They can't handle uncut Bolivian yayo. My coke ain't stepped on.
Well, Mike actually called you on the phone.
No, he didn't call me about this.
Oh.
Just about the last situation about the cops thing. And then when we went back and forth about that, he eventually blocked me. Otherwise, I would have tagged him in the post.
Okay, I got the timeline wrong.
Right.
So he had called you before.
Yeah.
Okay,
and we got into it.
Yeah, and he actually wanted to box you at that point?
Celebrity boxer. Yeah. Fuck out of here, Day-Day.
I mean, listen, shout out to Mike Epps. I personally feel that off camera, Mike is actually funnier than he is on stage.
I think Mike is funny both ways. Mike's one of the, and listen, just because we don't vibe personally, I would never take away from your profession if you're good at what you do. You know what I'm saying? And Mike's one of the best. Comedically, Mike is a good dude. I'm just telling you what I heard as far as people walking out. But comedically, he's a good dude. On film, he's funny. He knows how to steal a scene.
He's great. I think that's really where he shines. And this is not me putting down Mike at all, because me and Mike, we've talked before. We're cool. I feel that he really shines on the movie screen. That's where he really shines. And I've seen his stand-ups, and they're cool. But that's off camera, I thought he was funnier than he was on on stage. But it's all subjective.
We can argue that all day.
Regardless, he's talented.
Very.
Regardless, you can't say that this guy is not very talented. And he's had staying power all these years.
But if you gonna bark, nigga, I'm barking back.
Right. There you go. If given the chance, would you actually sleep with Lizzo?
Would I sleep with Lizzo?
Yeah, if given the chance.
And I could hear all the women. That bitch would sleep with you. Nah, man, not my speed.
Not your speed.
She's not my speed.
Okay.
Now, Jill Scott, yeah. But listen, I like thick women. I like voluptuous women. I don't like, you like what you like, and there should be no shame in that. I don't like a biggie bitch.
Okay. Because I didn't mean YK Osiris. He actually likes big girls. He compares them.
It's a fetish.
Compares them to 16-wheelers.
It's a fetish,
right? And I've had some big girls in my day. It's an interesting experience, to be honest. I feel all these dudes out there who's only mess with skinny or thick women, get you a big girl. Listen, just to experience it, because actually it's a very interesting, special kind of thing. To be honest,
I don't like bony women.
Right there, you go.
Where girls look like they thighs and they legs are poles and heels. I don't like bony women. Gazelle chicks. I like a thick, voluptuous thigh, hamstring, calves type of chick, man. That's what I like.
There you have it. So we won't see a love connection between Lizzo and Aries Spears sometime in the future.
Lizzo, I love you, baby. It ain't personal. I'm being a comic, man.
It's business.
I'm being a comic.
Well,
before we switch gears, I have to do this.
Go ahead.
Make sure y'all follow those Spears and Steinberg podcasts, man. Hit me up on Instagram and my DMs so I can send you the links, baby.
Well, when doing my research today, you and Bruce had issues with each other?
I don't know if we had issues. It wasn't new. It was news to me. Not that he ever said anything to me. Whenever I saw Bruce in person, he always showed me love. But I saw on the internet a clip of him at a radio station that I frequently have done. And he was singing a different tune. So news to me.
Okay.
You know, a lot of dudes won't tell you how they feel to your face. They tell you after the fact. You know, they smile with you, dap you up, you know, tell you certain things. But, you know, when it's time to really say how they feel, they don't do it to your face.
The weird thing about being in a specific industry, regardless of whether it's comedy, music, media, or whatever, the people that are in it will have these weird internal beefs that no one outside of that really understands. But sometimes the competition thing, sometimes the jealousy thing, sometimes it's just, I just don't like this motherfucker for whatever reason. But, you know, comedy beef is a real thing. It seems like a lot of the comedians don't really get along with each other.
I don't know that that's true. I think most people do get along. And I wouldn't just relegate that to comedy. I think, you know, you're in an industry where, you know, it is competitive. And you know, if you watch any of the comedy documentaries that have been around about comedy in the early days from the comedy boom of the 80s, you know, comedy, especially, look, when you're all coming up together and you're all broke and you're all trying to make it, it's a fraternity. But then when someone makes it and another person doesn't, or someone's rise is faster than somebody else, all of a sudden now there's a crack in the fraternity. And that's when jealousy sets in. So, you know, as much as I would love to value that, to be honest with you, I think it's all false. You know, it's just all false. You know, this game in terms of fame and money and cutthroatness, it changes you. And people that start out one way, you know, depending on the amount of success one person receives over another, they go different ways. So yeah.
Well, didn't you do an interview? You talked about Alex Thomas.
Alex Thomas.
You know, going to Eddie Murphy's house.
That was misconstrued. I basically said it, and Alex knows I got love for him, and he got love for me. I even called Alex after the fact and explained to him that was taken out of context, which is why I won't do comedy hype anymore. What I said was, you know, Alex Thomas, Daryl Heath, Chris Spencer are good friends with Eddie Murphy, and a lot of times they would hang out with Eddie, go to Eddie's house, you know, chill, watch games, whatever. And a couple times, it was like, yo, man, you want to come hang out at Eddie's house? And I would love to do that. You know, that's Eddie Murphy. That's the king. Who wouldn't want to be around Eddie? But I also thought that it was somewhat frustrating to be around a guy like Eddie Murphy who has all this power and influence. And if he knows that these cats are funny and they're talented, why not help them? Why not produce a special? Why not put them in a movie? Why not produce a television show? And I don't want to just go around Eddie to be entertaining him like a court jester. And I think that's probably where maybe Alex might have looked at that sideways because I use the words court jester, but I didn't mean it in a disrespectful manner. I'm just saying I don't want to go perform for the king. And at the end of the day, all I'm going to get for it is a, man, you funny. It's like, dude, if you know this business, you know how hard it is for anybody to make it in this game, but certainly to be black in this game and try to make it is a fucking struggle. So help where you can.
Well, I mean, but he's not required to do business with someone that he's hanging out with on a social level. You know,
white boys do it for each other all the time.
Look, like
Adam Sandler, if it wasn't for Adam Sandler, how often would we see David Spade in a movie? Rob Schneider in a movie? He looks after his own, or we can't look after our own.
Well, Eddie Murphy's put on quite a number of people.
Well, I mean, yeah, when he did Harlem Nights and Boomerang. Yeah, and Life. Yeah, he worked with other black actors.
Yeah, you mentioned Boomerang. I mean, really, Coming to America, like all his movies really embrace a lot of, comedic talent.
Okay, but Eddie's been in the game for 4 decades.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So again, I'm not trying to knock what he has done. That's great. But why not do as much as you can? We just don't do as often for us as they do. I mean, you look at the big studio between David Geffen, Steven Spielberg, and Katzenberg. What is that called? DreamWorks.
DreamWorks, yeah.
You mean to tell me we got Tyler Perry, we got Oprah Winfrey, we got Michael Jordan, before he got in trouble, Bill Cosby, Denzel Washington. Where is our DreamWorks? Where is that conglomerate? Where is that big studio?
Well, would you say Tyler Perry?
That's one individual.
Well, but he's got a whole studio.
Yes,
he's got a whole big thing.
Listen,
they put out a lot of movies.
You can give me all the buts you want. The fact of the matter is, we should be doing what they do all the time. And we don't. Tyler Perry, and that's great. Tyler Perry is an individual. And yes, he will employ black people. And he has a studio. And that's wonderful. But in terms of how they do it, on the level that they do it, why can't we do it at that same level? Why is it taking this long to get that done? We shouldn't be coming hat in hand. We shouldn't be, eating off their plates. Let's eat off our own plates, our own studios.
Well, Chris Rock, he declined to host the 2023 Oscars. And he spoke about it on stage. He said that would be like asking Nicole Brown Simpson to go back to the restaurant.
That's funny. So are you asking me should he host?
Well, what do you think about that whole situation?
It was foul, man.
Yeah.
Again, comedy badge first. So I got to ride with Chris. I don't care what anybody says about you. You don't have your rights to put your hands on somebody, and like everybody else, Will laughed at the joke at first. So how you laugh 1 second and then 5 seconds later, because like Tony Rock said, your wife give you the side eye and now you assaulting somebody? Come on, man. And I love what Chris said eventually when he said, I got hit by the softest nigga in rap. When it happened, I said to myself, I would have loved to have doubled down right at the moment and been like, you so worried about me keeping your wife's name out my mouth when you should be concerned with the nigga that had himself in your wife's mouth.
Tupac?
No, August, whatever that dude's
August
name.
Alsina.
Yeah, whatever that dude's name was.
Right. Yeah, I mean, on stage, Chris Rock even talked about, actually fighting Will Smith. And he said, he's bigger than me. The state of Nevada will not sanction a fight between me and Will Smith.
Yeah, that'd be like a bantamweight versus a heavyweight.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he played Muhammad Ali. So you know what it is.
That's different weight division.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Chris Rock is doing sold out shows. And I'd heard rumors he's going to do like a Netflix special where he's going to address all this stuff.
Right.
I actually had someone that knows him, reach out and see if he wanted to do an interview. And we offered like a certain amount of money, which probably wasn't nearly enough for someone on his caliber, but still, we put in our 2 cents. And at the end of the day, I mean, Will Smith did apologize since our last interview. Mm-hmm. You watched the video of him apologizing?
I saw it.
What'd you think?
I think when she yelled cut, he said, was that good, Jada?
Oh man. Well, listen, shout out to Chris Rock. Hopefully he'll get past this. And
I think he's already past it.
He's already past it. Yeah.
Listen, man, all this stuff, like even with the Lizzo thing, it's like, it'd be different. It was like, man, did Aries kill somebody? Did he assault somebody? Did he violate somebody? It's like, dude, it was a joke. And when I talked to DL Hewley about it, he put it in perspective. He was like, listen, man, the world ain't about to tilt on its axis over a joke. You know what I mean? And certainly the Chris Rock, Will Smith thing was 10 times bigger than this. And, this all is about a news cycle. So when the next big thing hits, whatever that is, this will be old news.
Right. How did it feel to be canceled, though? Do you feel like you were canceled over this whole thing?
Canceled over what? I got nothing to cancel. I ain't got no TV show. I ain't got no movies. I work consistently on the road. I tour all year round doing stand-up, and every now and then do a voiceover for the Proud Family. You know, I'm about to do Wildin' Out with Nick Cannon, you know, make my little appearances here and there. But I'm canceled what?
There you have it. Well, Mike Tyson, who you have impersonated over the years, has a new series out on Hulu.
Yes.
Which he's very upset over.
Right.
He's called them like slave masters.
I actually watched they only got 2 episodes out right now. I watched them both. I wasn't going to watch it, but I watched them both.
I watched the first one.
Yeah.
And what kind of shocked me in the very beginning is they're trying to pass this guy off as Mike Tyson.
Yeah, you know, here's the thing. The look is awful. But what shocked me was he kind of sounded like Mike.
No, the voice was right.
And what else was right was he really studied Mike's movements.
Okay.
Because that little hand thing that Mike was doing, and whenever Mike would get embarrassed and, you know, bury his face in his hands, which, you know, showed his vulnerability, he had that down. And the dude playing the young Mike
Perfect.
was good.
Perfect. He looked just like him.
Yes.
Looked just like him.
But here's what's distracting to me. It's like when Michael Jai White played Tyson for the first Tyson thing.
Yep.
And I think Jamie Foxx is doing a major movie playing Mike. What they both have in common in terms of Mike are the eyes. Mike's eyes are kind of, you know, Asianish, if you know what I mean. Like, Mike has, like, his eyes resemble an Asian person's, the way that they're shaped. And Jamie's is like that, and Michael Jai White's is like that. So visually, I could see Tyson. But this dude, nah, yo.
Yeah,
nah.
it looked crazy.
Yeah.
It just looked crazy. Right, because Mike was upset that he wasn't involved and he didn't get paid for his likeness. But then again, when they do biopics, a lot of times the person is not involved. Because you mentioned Michael Jai White, when the original, I think it was the HBO, you know, special about, you know, that Michael Jai White did, Tyson was in jail. He wasn't paid for it at all.
Right.
So I can understand the frustration, but the reality is when you're a public figure, people are going to do things about you which you're not going to get paid for. So I'm not sure why Mike was so upset over that whole situation. But
I mean, you know, it's his life story. You know, he feels like he should be compensated. I mean, I personally agree. You know, that's the fucked up thing about this business, man, is everybody's so stingy when there's so much bread to be broken. You know what I mean? There's a lot of bread to go around. Ain't nobody starving. So break bread, man.
Yep.
Break bread.
You were actually at the Comedy Store on Fat Tuesdays, and you were making Mike Tyson jokes on stage.
Yeah.
And Tupac was in the audience.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Pac was being Tupac. You know, he got mad and was like, yo, don't fuck with my nigga Mike Tyson. Don't fuck with my nigga Mike Tyson, which Mike wasn't even there.
What were the jokes that you were making?
I don't remember. I just probably did some Tyson impressions like everybody else.
Can we hear your Tyson impression?
Man, my Tyson impression, that was a young Mike. That was, you know, Mike Tyson, guys fighters. You know, you know, Mike has evolved since then, but you know, I was doing basic, you know, everybody did the caricature of Mike, the lisp and the light voice. And, you know, so Pac was defending his man. And then afterwards, though, it was strange because when it was over, Pac was like giving me so much love. Like, man, that was funny, nigga. You funny. He just didn't want me to fuck with Mike.
Well, I mean, Tupac is known to be kind of a live wire. And he's known to roll with like a crew of dudes that will really do anything on his behalf. Guys like Napoleon that would just punch you in the face if Tupac just gave him a look.
Yeah.
So were you worried at all this might escalate into something worse at that time?
Nah, not really. Listen, man, I've always been who I've been. So whatever the consequences are the consequences. You know, a lot of people would probably think that I would have been done talking shit since that incident. But here we are. I told you, man, comedy badge.
Okay. Because, I mean, had you run into Tupac any other times outside of that?
No,
okay.
No.
Well, because on Mad TV, you actually made fun of Tupac's death.
Well, I didn't. I wasn't even in that sketch.
Okay.
It was called Weekend at Tupac's, which was a parody of Weekend at Bernie's.
Right. Weekend at Bernie's, for those that don't know, is an 80s film where they basically have a corpse of this guy, rich guy Bernie, which they basically parade around to make people think he's still alive.
Right.
So Tupac died.
Yeah.
And they had what, a Tupac corpse?
Well, Phil Lamar played Tupac as a corpse.
Okay.
So yeah, he was, had the bandana and the bald head and the diamond nose ring. And yeah, that was the sketch.
Okay. Phil Lamar, who went on to do voices for a bunch of
Right.
big, animated shows and so forth. He was also in Pulp Fiction. I interviewed him a while back. Interesting. So he's the one that played Tupac. When you saw that skit, did you feel like, okay, this is going a little over the line, or fuck it, it's comedy?
Nah, because I don't know what, like Dave Chappelle said, you don't know what over the line is until you cross it.
Okay.
And, we came from that era, man, the 90s, where, we was raw. That was the last decade for rawness. That maybe a little bit of the 2000s, but, we went there. I mean, Bobby Brown was on the Breakfast Club, and Charlamagne asked him, is there anybody from Mad TV that you ever had an issue with? And he was like, yeah, a couple of times I wanted to put Aries Spears in a corner, which was strange because anytime I talked to him, he always told me he thought it was hilarious. He just said that Whitney didn't really find it funny, but he thought it was hilarious.
What were you doing on Mad TV about Bobby?
Bobby? Oh, take your pick. We fucked with them religiously.
Like, what were you doing?
We did one skit called, the parody off of MTV Cribs. So instead of, they went to Bobby and Whitney's house, which the outside was the mansion, but the inside was a total crack house, like steel drum with flames in it, to try to keep warm. Everything was in shambles and disarray. And I think the line that Whitney was specifically pissed about was, I said to her, hey, Whitney, you seen Bobby Christina, our daughter? And she goes, oh, come on, Bobby, we smoked her. So there it was.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy because I remember a few months ago, I was looking up the article about Whitney and her passing and so forth.
Right.
And I guess in the autopsy, she was missing half her teeth.
Really?
Yeah. By the time she died, she had like half her teeth had been removed.
Jesus.
And she had like, fake teeth and so forth, keeping it all together. She had been so heavy on the drugs that, you know what happens. I mean, you've seen drug,
Yeah, I never heard that.
Yeah,
though.
you've seen drug addicts lose their teeth. It's a very normal thing that you see. You just think, oh, it's Whitney.
Right.
But if you're taking the same drugs as the people on the street, you're going to have the same physical effect. I remember there was that big outrage because Pusha T actually licensed the picture of what her hotel room looked like when she died. And it looked like a mess, looked like a drug den.
Wow. Well, I mean, that's,
Yeah, it spent Kanye spent $85,000 to license that picture.
Yeah, that's
for
what
Pusha T's album cover.
Right.
The whole drug theme and everything else like that. It was a bad situation. But then again, it's also comedy. So
yeah, I mean, listen, again, people try to take what's tragic and bring it to light and bring some levity to it. That's the only way sometimes you can survive it. Actually, most times that you could survive it. So, we did what we did and we were unapologetic. And I miss that era. I think comedy is such in a bad place right now. And with the exception of a few soldiers who are willing to stand their ground, Dave Chappelle or Bill Burr, comedy's in a bad place right now.
I mean, do you think if Mad TV was on today, with the same content,
No.
it'd be like, we're taking the episode down, we're doing a public apology, we'd like to apologize for the Weekend at Bernie's skit.
Yeah.
We hope Tupac's family does not feel bad about the jokes that we did.
Yeah, it just, but I really believe it's going to make a resurgence, man, because I think that at a certain point, listen, this is America, and nobody tells the biggest bully on the block what to do, So I think at some point there's going to be a backlash because people are just tired of it.
Well, how long was Mad TV on the air? How many seasons?
I think 14 years.
Okay. Why did it ultimately get canceled?
It lost its steam, man. The longer you stick around, the harder it is to maintain that level of potency. I mean, Saturday Night Live has been around, 50 years now? Mm-hmm. And they've certainly had their ups and downs. But it's an institution. It's a pop cultural, iconic American institution. So I don't think it'll ever go away. But no other sketch show outside of SNL, other than Mad TV, has had that kind of longevity.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Living Color was on for maybe 5-6 seasons?
Maybe 5-6 years.
Yeah.
And listen, of the 14 years Mad was on, 6, pushing it to say 7 was worth it. After about 6 and 7, it just wasn't what it was.
Were you on at the end when it finally got canceled?
No, I was on from seasons 3 till 6.
Aha.
Yeah.
Okay, so why were you asked to?
No.
Why did you-
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I think I was done by season 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you leave yourself or you were asked to leave?
No. Listen, when my contract was originally up the first time, they renewed it. They renewed me every time. But by that time, it was almost like, to be honest with you, it was almost like mutual because I really wanted to do other things. But at the same time, they felt like based on the direction they were going, it just was, the Titanic was sinking. So, you don't want to be on the ship that once was majestic and wonderful to something that's like, sinking.
Well, recently, Fat Joe, during a show, talked about how hip hop was invented by blacks and Latinos.
Yes.
And there's all this sort of things over this situation, which to me is a little bit surprising because I've interviewed pretty much all the OGs in hip hop, from Africa Bambaataa to Grandmaster Caz to Coke La Rock to Curtis Blow. And they've all said that Latinos were around during that era.
Right.
Why do you think that it's such an issue right now in 2022?
I don't know, but look, niggas and Puerto Ricans and Hispanics, we the same motherfuckers, just different spices. One is adobo, the other's Lawry's. We the same motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of Hispanic people derive from black culture and black heritage. From the music to the food, to the background and where we come from. Everybody derives from niggas.
I mean, right now there seems to be this weird sort of battle, I feel. Like, for example, I interviewed NLE Choppa, right?
I don't know who that is.
He's a young rapper. He's 19 years old.
Right.
And he's from Jamaican descent. I think like his mother is Jamaican
Right.
or something like that. And we were just talking about hip hop and I was saying, oh, Kool Herc is Jamaican, right? The inventor of hip hop and so forth. And from what I understand, he took some of the sensibilities of Jamaican dancehall and so forth and applied it with American music and created hip hop out of that. And this whole thread started about like, Jamaicans had nothing to do with hip hop. That's bullshit. Vlad is trying to change the narrative. And I'm like, the guy's Jamaican. Like, that's established. He's Jamaican.
Right.
And if you look at Jamaican dance parties, they do kind of resemble what these parties, with guys on the mic and so forth. Like, that wasn't being done in the US originally. It was a Jamaican thing. It was a reggae thing. And I'm like, yeah, he took some of that style and created hip hop with it. I don't see the problem with me giving props to Jamaicans, but it's like, no, this is American.
I don't see it either. Listen, from a cultural standpoint, it is black music.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
It's like to get into a civil war about Jamaicans versus Haitians versus Africans versus.
Right.
When the cops put the gun in your face, they see niggas. Cops don't put a gun in your face and go, I'm a kid. Wait a minute. Which nigga are you? Oh, you Jamaican. You go ahead. Oh, you Haitian. You go ahead. Niggas is niggas. So what difference does it make? If the beauty of the culture comes from us, period. Now, the day you tell me it's from a Switzerland nigga, now we got beef.
Right. If a white guy invented all hip hop, someone said that.
Yeah, you tell me that some motherfucker named Auschwitz or some, Haagen-Dazs motherfucker made it. Now we're going to have a problem.
Although there were white, songs from white artists that were very prominent during early hip hop times, like Tour de France.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? Like there was like songs that were hip hop back then that were part of the whole culture that weren't necessarily coming from black artists, but it was sort of created this whole gumbo of what we have today. But I don't think anyone's saying that American black people didn't invent hip hop. They did. But there's obviously a lot of different influences along the way that created this beautiful art form that became essentially pop music 50 years later.
Yeah.
Like, I remember a time like in high school where this white kid told me hip hop won't be around in a couple of years.
Well,
This was during the late 80s.
Well, historically, we black people in general, we're supposed to have been finished. and more than just hip hop. You know, we weren't supposed to be around, but you know, we're the originators and the creators of everything. The most stolen and copied people on the planet. So, you know, we know our influence is strong. What we need to do sometimes is be careful. We keep teaching the Kwai Lo. And, you know, you see what happens when you teach the Kwai Lo.
The Kwai Lo, what's that? What's the Kwai Lo?
It's a reference from the Bruce Lee movie, Dragon, the Bruce Lee story.
Okay.
You know, the Asian, certain key mafia-like members of the Asian community got upset because Bruce Lee kept teaching the Kwai Lo.
Oh,
white people.
He gave away the secrets of Kung Fu to outsiders.
To outsiders, yeah.
Speaking of rappers, you said Lil Wayne looks like a gargoyle.
Yeah, and that's me being comedic again. Come on, man. Look at that nigga, man. He don't look like he belong on the top of New York City skyscraper protecting the city. Come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, Lil Wayne, the face tattoos are crazy, too. I got to see like a close-up.
Everything is crazy. Nigga looks like a bug. Respect him, no? One of the best. Hats off. I'm not going to stop being a comedian, man.
Okay. What about Kodak Black? He has a similar kind of look.
All of them. Spot him, got him, Kodak Black. I think we went through this before, man.
Okay.
Niggas is gremlins, man.
Okay, well, I remember our last interview.
Yes.
I compared Kodak Black to James Brown.
And yes, and I wanted
you lost
to
your
destroy
shit.
You.
But you said that one of your favorite new rappers is Kendrick Lamar.
No, I recognize him for being one of the top dogs in the game today.
Right.
Am I a Kendrick Lamar fan to the point where I'm about to show my age. I'm about to say buying an album or whatever the kids do
Buying
now.
a CD.
Stream or whatever. No, I've never purchased his music.
You've never listened to
I've
Kendrick?
heard his music.
Okay,
and he's dope.
Okay. Well, after the interview came out, Kendrick's album dropped.
Right.
And Kodak was on 3 songs. In fact, Kodak was on more songs than any other featured artist on that album, which is considered one of the biggest albums of the year.
Okay.
So clearly, Kendrick Lamar appreciates what Kodak Black brings to the game. If he's giving him space on a very coveted project, which he has not come out with another project in like 5 years.
Ugly bitches get dick.
I was not ready for this.
You know what I mean? Fat girls get fucked. What that mean? Okay.
Okay. So you don't think it has anything to do with what Kodak brings to the hip hop game?
Listen, it could be a strategic move. You know, it's one of the best lines I ever heard is when, you know, there was the whole uproar when the South was winning in rap and the East Coast wasn't #1 no more. And Fat Joe said, what y'all so mad at the South for? Switch up your stance. Switch to Southpaw. That's a cold line. Mm-hmm. So from a strategic point, you know, maybe Kendrick, and I'm not saying Kendrick don't recognize him for being legit, but it ain't a bad business move either. You know, these kids, rap is, in terms of where it is now, the kids run this shit. So if you have a couple of features with Kodak, guess what? You get that audience. It's not a bad business move.
I think with Kendrick, though, he's a different type of artist. He's not just
Again, I'm not saying he doesn't appreciate the guy's artistry.
Right.
But it's not a bad business move
I'm not saying it's a bad business move, but like with someone like a Kendrick, right, with the way he only comes out every 5 years, how the projects are not really radio friendly. He's not grabbing all the hot artists in the game. There's no Drake features. There's no NBA Youngboy features. There's no like whoever's hot, you know, the Baby features. Like he actually reached and usually features people that you're not exactly even familiar with a lot of times, like certain singers and so forth like that. So to me, I saw it as an artistic move as opposed to this will help me sell a few more albums.
Listen,
that's what I saw.
It might even be more of an artistic move than helping to sell albums. But again, I think you'd be crazy to deny that that's a possibility.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If guys like Kodak and Lil Trippy Red and all the, you know, the little munchkin ass niggas, if they got that audience and that demographic, You know what I mean? The more the merrier.
Well, recently this list came out that started to go viral of the 50 worst rappers of all time. Have you seen this list?
No, but I heard about it.
I will read this list to you. Hold on.
And these are the worst.
The worst. We'll start with number 1 and we'll end with 50. Number 1, Silk the Shocker, Lil Yachty, Master P, OJ the Juice Man, Lil Flip, Lil Pump, Smoke Perp, 6ix9ine, Gutta Gutta, Puffy, Waka Flocka Flame, Coi Leray, Birdman, Vanilla Ice, Kid Boo, Yeet, Benzino, Plies, Blueface, Cardi B, Lil B, Gunna, Chief Keef, Soulja Boy, Manny Fresh, Nick Cannon, Chingy, Saint Lunatics, Bow Wow, C Murder, G Herbo, Riff Raff, French Montana, Ying Yang Twins, Mike Jones, Lil Uzi Vert, Flo Rida / Pitbull. They put them both the same number. Young Thug, Petey Pablo, Gucci Mane, Designer, Tony Yayo, Tom McDonald, Future, Iggy Azalea, Nelly, RZA, Playboy Cardi, Eazy-E, and NBA Youngboy. Number 50.
And 50 Cent is on there?
50 Cent is not on there.
Oh. I think that list is accurate. I would just take off Pitbull because Pitbull to me is a specific lane. And for what he does for that lane and for his people and how he represents that culture, he's a beast. I wouldn't put Pitbull in that.
Huh. I would take Cardi B off that list. I think she's a talented rapper. Yeah. I'll take Cardi B off that list.
I can't. The voice.
Not the worst rapper of all time.
Listen,
she should not be on that
listen,
list.
if I did a comedy skit about car insurance, it would be me sitting in a car and I'm with my mistress and my wife, and my mistress is Cardi B and my wife is Rosie Perez, and they're both cursing me out in Spanish and English, one ear and in the other, and my head explodes and I get brain matter all over the windshield. And that's a car commercial. It's for insurance. Are you fucking kidding me? Ugh. When I say Rosie Perez, I'm talking do the right thing, Rosie Perez. Mookie! That voice with all that adobo and sofrito energy on both sides. Your fucking dome would explode.
Let's see. I'll take Lil Flip off that list. Absolutely.
You take Lil Flip off?
Absolutely. Lil Flip is dope. Lil Flip is dope.
Didn't he just have the one song?
No, he had platinum albums.
Really?
Multi-platinum albums. I think he damn near went diamond. Yes. This Is the Way We Roll, Sunshine. Like, he had some joints.
Again, listen, man, when it comes to hip hop, I'm so biased because of the era and because of where I'm the coast. I'm so East Coast and I'm so 90s. So, you know.
I'll take Plies off that list. I think Plies is talented in what he does.
Right.
Gunna, I'll take off that list also. Chief Keef, I'll take off that list because I think the impact that he had is immense. I would take Chingy off that list. I think Chingy was dope in his day. I think he had some joints. G Herbo, I'll take off that list. French Montana, I'll take off that list. Ying Yang Twins, I'll take off that list. I think Ying Yang Twins are dope. You not feeling the Ying Yang Twins?
Well, they was the Wait Till You See My Dick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Lil Uzi Vert.
Right.
I think Mike Jones is cool, even though.
See, dude, when you say rappers, like, I'm thinking bars, lyrical wordplay,
Okay.
metaphors, punchlines, ability.
Okay. I would take Tony Yayo off that list. That's
Any
my man.
of them dudes that you say you'll take off that list, if they had to go up one-on-one against Jadakiss, Nas,
but
Eminem,
this is not
Jay-Z,
comparing to the best.
Biggie. The list is worst rappers. So whether it's worst or best, we're talking about rapping.
Okay. I would take Tony Yayo off that list. I would take Future off that list, definitely. I think Future is dope at what he does, and he's gotten better over the years. I would definitely take Nelly off that list. Nelly was a hit maker. Nelly had big songs. Hot in Here.
Okay, having hit songs is different from rapping ability. A hit song is very different from rapping ability.
Okay.
You can have a hit song
He had
and
many
not be a
hit
great
songs.
rapper.
He's been on a lot of dope records. I think so.
Listen, if we talk battle rappers as far as rap ability, Loaded Lux, Murder Mook.
Right. We're not talking about
saying?
battle rap.
But my point is, as far as rap ability, Them dudes will murder anybody. But the ability to make a hit song, a hit album,
it's a little different.
That's different.
I feel you. I would absolutely take Eazy-E off that list. That's just ridiculous. Eazy-E was dope. You don't think Eazy-E was dope? Really?
Not my cup of tea.
Eazy-E?
Not my cup of tea.
Where'd you grow up again?
New York,
New
nigga.
York. Okay, there we go. There we go. It's the East Coast bias.
No, it's not East Coast bias. No, it's not East Coast
no
bias.
one on the West Coast would say Eazy-E is one of the worst rappers of all time.
He's on Snoop's level? He on Pac's level?
Yes. Absolutely.
You
That first album, Eazy does it. Let me put it like this. There may not be a Dr. Dre if it wasn't for Eazy-E. That first album, Eazy does it. That album put NWA on the map. Dr. Dre was wearing shiny suits and doing electro music until Eazy-E's first album. You do know that, right? World Class Wrecking Crew.
No, I don't know that.
Okay. This is what Dr. Dre looked like before Eazy-E came around. This is an actual Dr. Dre picture.
Okay.
Off his album cover.
And Tupac did ballet.
Okay. And someone came around and helped Tupac develop who he was. That person was Shock G from Digital Underground. Okay? So I'm just saying that if it wasn't for Shock G, there might not be a Tupac. And if it wasn't for Eazy-E, there might not be a Dr. Dre.
And if it wasn't for their mamas, wouldn't be none of them niggas.
Okay, fine. I'm just saying, you cannot put Eazy-E on an all-time worst rapper list. Not on my clock.
Okay.
I don't think any West Coast human being would say that. Definitely no West Coast rapper. Definitely not. Eazy-E was an icon.
You think, again, for you to put him at that bar, I would have to say, is he up there with Ice-T? Is he up there with Snoop?
Yes.
You crazy.
Yes.
You crazy.
Yes.
He's up there with Ice-T?
Yes.
You crazy.
Ice-T would put him up there with Ice-T.
That's because Ice-T's being a nice guy.
No, Ice-T does not hold his tongue. Trust me. Ice-T would put Eazy-E up there with him.
Wow.
Absolutely. And in fact, you could say that Eazy-E made a bigger impact than Ice-T in music. In music, the whole family tree of the West Coast originates with Eazy-E. The whole Death Row, Aftermath, NWA, Ice Cube, all the way through the Kendrick Lamars and Eminems and 50 Cents, all that really originated with Eazy-E. He was the star of NWA before you got to know who Ice Cube was and MC Ren was and Dr. Dre was. The first Ruthless album was Eazy-E.
All right, he might have started it.
He was dope. Everyone would like, when you listen to NWA, everyone would wait for the Eazy-E part.
I can't co-sign that.
Okay.
I can't.
It's an East Coast bias. It's a New York bias.
It's not.
It's a New York bias.
It really isn't.
You were not growing up with this stuff. You probably discovered NWA a little bit later.
Snoop Dogg's first album, I bumped that to the wheels.
That was way later. That was way later.
Tupac, I bumped that to the wheels fall off.
Way later.
Even though technically Tupac's from New York.
Right. He used to be called MC New York.
Right.
Do you know that?
I didn't know that.
That was his first rap.
Well, I think he was from Brooklyn. Bronx.
I mean, he was in Baltimore for a while, and he was in New York. I mean, his mom was moving around.
But I think he was born in New York.
Yeah. His original rap name, one of his original rap names was MC New York. Real talk.
Right. New York, home of the spitters.
What'd you think about the whole Irv Gotti talk about how he was sleeping with Ashanti? That whole situation.
Wasn't he married at the time?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, just like a man. Mad that his side bitch was cheating on him while he was cheating on his wife.
Right, he said he found out that she was dating Nelly on TV. He said he got angry about it.
From Shaq's All-Star Comedy Jam.
Something like that, yeah.
That's the show I did.
Oh, really?
That's when Nelly walked in with her.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, shit. Everybody, the girls started screaming. I was like, who that? And it was Nelly, and he was walking in with Ashanti. That's where he saw that. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people are mad at Irv Gotti for exposing all this. And his thing was like, hey, I'm speaking my truth. This is what happened.
The pussy potent, man. Brings men to their knees, man. Makes us act like fools.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's also promoting a new, documentary series. So,
right.
Yeah. I mean, from what I understand, he's mad that she's re-recording her original masters, which means he's going to get cut out financially over a lot of these records.
He's mad he can't get that ass no more. That's what he's mad at. All that other shit is just the follow through.
I mean,
he's mad. He ain't.
Ashanti is definitely aged gracefully. I mean, you can't say.
She's bananas, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Beautiful, man.
So, since our last interview, Kim Kardashian broke up with Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
Were you surprised at all?
Not at all.
Nah?
No, not at all. That pussy's for the streets. That's what these young kids say. Pussy for the streets.
She for the streets.
Yeah, man. Listen, like I said before, I'm so not a KK fan, man. Like it incenses me.
Well, after they broke up, Kanye posted on his Instagram a fake newspaper article that said Skeet Davidson dead at 28.
Yeah, Kanye be doing the most, man. Yeah. He hurt. I'm telling you, man, that pussy fuck your head up. Fuck your head up. And that's wifey with kids. So
4 kids.
Yeah, that runs deep.
Yeah. Yeah. And the rumor was that Pete checked himself into trauma therapy over some of the Kanye comments and so forth.
Yeah, I don't know. Pete, I saw him in a couple of interviews where he said he suffers from depression and mental health issues. So, he's got his own thing going on there. I don't know how much Kim contributed to that, but,
Well, I guess the thing for me is, yes. And I remember I used to say this before it actually happened. I said, if Pete ever responded to all these Kanye jabs, the way he responds is going to be so much more deadly than anything that Kanye
he's a
could
comedian?
do. Well, no, because he's actually sleeping with Kim, right? He actually has real ammunition.
Right.
Kanye's just talking shit, making little fake Marvel posters and whatever. But look what happened. Pete Davidson ended up texting Kanye with a picture of himself in Kim's bed.
Really?
Oh, yeah. You missed that part.
Whoa.
Yeah. And he was like, where are you? He's like, in your wife's bed. And he showed a picture of him like in the bed, like with his tongue out, like, ah.
Yeah, that's dangerous shit. I mean, listen, Kanye is a billionaire, man. He's a mogul. Mm-hmm. He's a rap icon. So what is he, really gonna do? Is he gonna pull an OJ? Most likely not. So he'll get over it, or who knows? Maybe him and Kim K will get back together. But yeah, that's a dangerous game, man. That man.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess my point is that you're talking about you're in trauma therapy, but you're joining into this game. Like what you sent Kanye, that's some shit that can get violent.
Well, but I'm also going, it's not like if Kanye had handled it with maturity and said, hey man, me and her done, I wish you the best. Just don't violate, be respectful and do your thing. I don't think he would do that because that would be like low class shit. But, he not only as a man, but as a comedian, there's only so much you're going to take. And Kanye's been dishing a lot of shit to him. So, he's fighting back. He's swinging back.
Well, the thing about Pete, though, he has a history of this type of thing. So, for example, when he was dating Ariana Grande, he started to text her ex, Mac Miller.
Unprovoked?
That's what I heard. He was starting to text Mac Miller, and I guess maybe she had still kind of had feelings for him, so he was trying to sort of get involved in that. And then, not to say that the things are necessarily related, but Mac Miller started to get heavy into drugs and heavy into his depression, ended up ODing. Now, I'm not saying that Pete Davidson's the reason why he OD'd, but right after that happened, Ariana Grande ended up dumping Pete Davidson. And was like, yo, I'm done with this whole shit. That was foul.
Right.
And look, have I ever confronted the ex of a girl that I was dating? Yeah, I've done that before over the phone and, got on the phone with the motherfucker and so forth, but not.
To talk shit?
Yeah.
Unprovoked?
Well, I had a situation where I was dating a girl and her ex saw us out together because we were all kind of at the same party, and he started to call her and try to get her back and everything. So I'm like, let me just go talk to him. Give me the phone number. So I just called him and was like, hey, listen, I'm with her now, and if you're going to continue to keep making these phone calls, you and I are going to have a problem. It was just as simple as that.
That's different. You're Russian, but you niggas, people just go missing.
He got
I don't want you to call anymore, there'll be problem. I'm not saying I do anything, but you'll never come up again. One day you go to sleep and then your family goes, where did he go? Y'all like the Muslims, the fruit of Islam. You don't fuck with them niggas. Between the fruit of Islam and the Russians, niggas just come up missing. They will find no DNA, no hair follicles, nothing. Everything just disappeared.
There we go. Well, Since our last interview, R. Kelly got 30 years. He has a new trial that's underway.
Right.
Apparently, the girl that was in the video from the first trial is now coming forward and saying that really was her. Because remember, in the first trial, she said it wasn't her. She took the stand
Right.
and said, that's not me in the tape. That's how he got off.
Right.
Now, from what I understand, she filed for bankruptcy because you kind of have to put the pieces together and sort of assume that R. Kelly had been paying her off all these years. And then when he went to prison, the money stopped. She filed for bankruptcy. So now she wants to let the story out. Other girls have come forward. Me personally, I'm not even sure why there is a trial, because whatever they sentence him with is probably going to run concurrently with his 30 years. So unless they plan on giving him 50 years,
Right.
it's kind of a waste of everyone's time. What's your take about R. Kelly?
Listen, man, what can you say? I mean, you seen this dude on camera, on tape, munching ass, young ass. So, what can you say? I always say, man, people act like celebrities are immune to having sickness. They're people too. The only difference is they got money and means to fight it and, cover it up. And whereas regular people don't, to somehow think that just because you're famous or you talented or you're brilliant means you're not susceptible to having issues is ridiculous. Everybody ain't innocent. So, some motherfuckers actually do the shit that they've been accused of. And if that was his thing, if that, fucking with underage girls and that was his sickness, he's where he should be. And again, I know people want to tend to protect these people because they played a role in your life. They're the soundtrack to your life. But, don't you have mothers? Don't you have daughters? Don't you have women in your life that mean something to you? So, we can all step in the name of love, but goddamn, you know what I mean?
People still bumping those songs, though. Let me tell you, I had a house party.
I sent out a post. I think he was in jail where he a cappella did the my mind's telling me no, and he belted it out. And the way he held this note and hit this riff, I said in the post in my caption, I was like, look, I would in no way, shape, or form ever excuse what he did, but that was impressive. Like damn.
Yeah. I mean, imagine, for years you've been winning the prison talent show. Every year. Every time there's a prison talent show, you win. Then R. Kelly shows up at that prison.
Oh, that's it.
That's it. Your reign is over.
And if you a Michael Clark Duncan looking nigga and he took your spotlight, R. Kelly in trouble.
Well, Boosie has always said that no person alive can beat R. Kelly in a versus. He said, God better make somebody if you want someone to win. Yeah, I mean, you still feel that nobody could beat R. Kelly in a versus?
Hell no, not even Mike. He will smoke Michael Jackson ass.
What about Usher?
Usher, he will smoke Usher ass. Anybody. You better go get God to create some fucking body. He will smoke anybody ass in the world. They know that. They know that. That nigga moonwalk the shit off Michael Jackson ass. Everybody know that. They just don't want to admit it. I'm going to speak the real. Who got more hits than him? Let's talk.
You know what I think?
Writing or singing.
Okay. No,
okay. He will smoke your ass.
I agree. I feel like right about now, what should happen is Ronald Isley should put out a Mr. Biggs album cussing out R. Kelly throughout the whole album. You know what I mean? That right there, Ronald Isley, if you listening, I got a platinum idea for you. Just have Mr. Biggs cuss him out song after song. Motherfucker, I thought I told you. You know what I mean? Would you think that's true?
I don't know. I don't know if I buy that completely. R. Kelly versus a young Luther Vandross.
Nope. Luther Vandross is not alive anymore.
What, he got to be alive?
Yeah, no person alive.
Oh, right. Okay.
Right. You can't bring Michael Jackson back from the dead. You can't bring Prince back from the dead. Now, Usher's still alive. And Usher got hits. But
now, I've always wondered, versus, is it based on ability or hits?
It's both. It's both. Because a lot of times, there's the hits that you make for other people that are included in the verses. And R. Kelly wrote a lot of hits for a lot of other people. like B2K and
From
the
a
list
hit
goes on.
standpoint, I would give it to R. Kelly.
Yeah.
From a singing ability standpoint, going with Usher.
Mm.
Going with Usher.
Usher's dope, but his catalog is much smaller than R. Kelly's.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But as far as ability, Usher's a monster.
I mean, when Diddy said that R&B is dead and everyone had their little debate over it, do you think that's true?
Yeah. I think the essence of R&B is dead. You know, again, courtship, talking to a woman, wooing a woman. You know, guys in this era, and because of, you know, social media and the climate of what that is, it's like, bitch, take your clothes off, suck my dick. You know, you know, the romance is gone. You know, the cat and mouse of it is gone. The allure is gone. The sexiness is gone. I remember, I forget where I was. I think it was in Kansas City doing a club. And I was listening to some rap song. God, I wish I could remember the exact lyrics. But the dude said something to the extent of, can you work this dick like you can scramble eggs? And I just went, Jesus Christ. Wow. Like I wish I could remember the lyrics, but it was just as simplistic and as vulgar as that. And I just went, there's no romance anymore.
I cannot find those lyrics anywhere on the internet.
Yeah. It was, you know, let me go back. When I watched the Mike Tyson thing, one of the funniest scenes was Mike Tyson said, you know, when I was coming up, I didn't have no game. Cut to, they show him in a bar and he just goes up to a woman and goes, hi, you want to fuck? So that's today.
Money makes you handsome. Money makes you handsome. It's true. It's true.
It gives you the illusion of handsome. Because you still, you know, if you ain't got no game, then your money becomes your game. Yeah. But at that point, you know that it's, you know, it's false. It's false prophecy.
Well, it also gives you confidence. And that goes a long way when it comes to male.
I don't know about it. To me, that's all an illusion. Like,
well, everything's an illusion. It's all an illusion.
I know, but listen, I'm not walking around with Bill Gates money, but I'm cool. But I got confidence up the ass because I know I got gifted gab. I know how to play tongue tennis with bitches.
Tongue tennis.
You know what I mean? My serve is real John McEnroe, nigga. And when you say shit that bitches like, whenever you hear a girl do this, especially black women, when a girl goes, that's that serve. Nas, one of my favorite rappers. He had a line that I love to this day. I talk all that slick shit the same way these bitches do. Women know how to talk that shit. And if you know how to talk it with them, and y'all on them serves, that's how you get them draws down, man. They say laughter is a natural aphrodisiac.
I can see
You
that.
know what I mean? And if you really know what you're doing, and your game is tight, and your humor is tight, it's a natural aphrodisiac.
Well, yeah. I mean, when we had Ed Lover on the show, and we asked about
your man making a face, it's a natural aphrodisiac.
Well, I remember when we had Ed Lover on the show, and we asked him about Kim K and Pete Davidson. He was like, yo, I'm sure this motherfucker is charming. I'm sure he's funny.
Who, Pete Davidson?
Yeah, Pete Davidson. He's on Saturday Night Live.
Listen,
I'm sure. Like, I'm sure that it actually doesn't surprise him at all that Pete got with Kim. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Listen, there's a lot of super handsome, ripped, built, boring motherfuckers. Mm-hmm. If you ain't got no game, the chest and the six pack and the V in the front and the chiseled jaw. For a woman, I'm sure that's nice to look at. But once you get past the novelty of that, can you make her laugh? Mm-hmm. Are you intellectually stunning to her? Are you making her think? Are you keeping her on her toes? Are you challenging her? Women hate boring. And if your ass is boring, it's like, all right, nigga, take your shirt off, fuck me, and go home.
Mysticals.
Fat niggas fuck. I've been fucking.
Mystical's back in jail again.
Rape, right?
Another rape charge.
Damn.
I mean, he got convicted of one, which he did some years for.
Right.
Another one came up, which he ended up beating. And then there's this one. And I read...
So this the third?
Well, this is the third, in terms of charge. One of which got dropped, one of which he was convicted from, and he did his jail time for. But this is now the third one, and he's in jail, no bond, Apparently, this happened with a woman who he lives with and is in a relationship with.
Right.
And I believe he has a baby with as well.
Right.
And I read through the report. It was like, it kind of sounded like a weird, just drug paranoia situation where he claimed that there was some money that was missing and something crazy happened. And then ultimately,
It led to rape?
it led to him being in jail for rape.
Right.
That's a motherfucker. I mean, I interviewed the guy. I thought, his music is dope, but and he's in Louisiana on top of it, which is not the place to be in when it comes to this type of thing.
Because jail?
Oh, the jails in Louisiana and the laws down there?
Right.
Still Jim Crow down there.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully this thing ends up getting worked out. But we're in this weird kind of society right now because, for example, George Foreman is being sued right now for sexually abusing 2 minors from the 1970s. Yeah, he pulled up in his Model T Ford. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He lit his torch because, electricity wasn't around back then. And apparently, he abused these 2 women who are now suing for millions of dollars 50 years later.
Bill Cosby got to be somewhere like, I knew it wasn't just me. I knew there was other dudes that was doing what I was doing. I know that it just wasn't me. Sometimes when you want the pudding, you don't ask. You just put your spoon in and you go to work. I've had a lot of pudding. I've had the pudding. I've had the vanilla pudding. I've had the chocolate pudding. I've had the pudding with the rice and the tapioca. That means that the pussy was bad. The tapioca and the rice was around the lips and the ovula and the clitoris. It was the disease pussy. That's why I make this face, because when I taste the pussy, they go, something's wrong. All right.
You just put your spoon in and you go to work.
You just put your spoon in and you go to work. You turn and you twist it and you go in circular motion, clockwise and counterclockwise until it's all gone. And then when there's nothing left, you lift the plastic and you put your tongue in and you scoop the rest out. You see?
Yeah. I'm not touching that one. So, Jordan Franklin, one of our members on our YouTube forum, pointed out that there's a music video that you did a while back.
Who did?
That you did.
I did?
Yeah. It's called Fuck a Book.
Yes.
So I watched the music video.
Yes. I think I know where you're going with this.
Well, number one, you had a chicken chain necklace.
Yes.
Which was...
With actual raw chicken wings. Yeah.
You actually had a chain of raw chicken wings.
Yes.
And I guess what? Like there was a fire around so you could cook the chicken and eat it?
Yeah, and eventually eat it,
right.
Yes.
But then there was another scene where you say, well, they say that's my man, that's really my man.
Yeah.
And you kiss the man.
Yes.
In the video.
Yes.
This was not special effects. This was you actually kissing a man.
And my point of the parody was exposing homosexuality and rap through all the thuggery and all the macho bravado that we know exists. So it was a character called Big Bugga Boogaloo, a rapper from down south who, was hardcore hip hop, but who was gay. Yes.
Okay.
No shame. I don't give a fuck what you niggas say. Because here come the comments. Oh, homosexual, gay, all the shit. Miss me with that bullshit, man. I know who I am.
Was there, because this is a pretty old video, right?
Yeah, it was the skit that actually aired after my first comedy special on Showtime, Look Hollywood, I'm Smiling. So after the stand-up, this came on.
So like 10 years ago or so?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. Well, that came out.
Yeah.
And the internet was a little earlier back then. Was there any sort of hoopla over this, or people didn't give a shit?
Nah. And if there was, I wouldn't have cared.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you did what you did.
Yeah. Listen, man, what the fuck I'm gonna apologize for? I sent out a post the other day. I guess they were in talks to do this movie, and then it fell apart, and now they're back in the talks to doing it. Martin Lawrence as Shanae and Jamie Foxx as Wanda, doing those 2 characters together.
Oh.
Yeah, in a film.
Oh, so they're actually going from two different shows.
Right.
Because Wanda was from Living Color,
Living Color.
Shanae was from Martin.
Right.
Yeah.
So I said, how many of y'all, and I'm really talking about men, are gonna go see this movie? Because, you know, in the black community, there's always been this thing about black men in dresses in Hollywood, brothers in dresses. And I go, well, first of all, that's been a staple in comedy since forever. So you mean to tell me that if, you know, your favorite black comedian, big time A-list, iconic comedian, comes to your city to do a show, you're not gonna go see him or support his movies because they put on a dress? And I mean, everybody's put on a dress. Flip Wilson, Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, Tyler Perry, Kevin Hart, Marlon Wayans, Shawn Wayans. And a lot of people would say, shit, that's why we love Dave Chappelle, because Dave ain't ever put on no dress. Yes, Dave too. Robin Hood met in tights. So.
But he wore a dress then?
Yes. And my whole thing has been, so do we now look at these comedians with a different respect? Do we no longer see them as the great, iconic, great entertainers that they are? Do we not go support them in film and in movies now? Because when the Martin show was on, that was religion in black households. Everybody loved Martin. But come on, man. He played Shanae. He played Mama Payne in dresses. You know, he made Big Mama's House, 3 sequels. You know, Jamie Foxx's Wanda. So you mean to tell me y'all got less love for Martin because he put on a dress? He's not as funny. He's not as respectable. Jamie Foxx, Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy and Norbit as Rasputin's, Eddie Murphy and the Nutty Professor as Mama and Grandmama Clump, you know, Flip Wilson, Geraldine, Richard Pryor and the Toy. So, you know, I never saw that like that. I just saw it as great comics being comedic.
Yeah, we just did an interview with Miguel A. Nunez Jr.
Right.
Lunel did the interview, and he was in Juana Man.
Yeah.
Right, where he played a woman.
Yes.
He also played a gay character in Life.
Yes.
Biscuit.
Yes.
Which is probably his best known role. Even though he was the lead in Juana Man, everyone knew him as Biscuit. And to me, it's like, yo, it's acting. You're an actor.
Yes.
And you could play yourself in every movie if you're typecast, but if you're a true actor, you're going to try to push yourself and get into roles that aren't necessarily like yourself. That's what makes you a great actor, as opposed to, you know, like, for example, you look at Johnny Depp. I think Johnny Depp is dope, but I feel like he kind of plays himself in every movie.
Well, no, he does a lot of weird type roles, though. Yeah, he really does.
But he's always kind of that Johnny Depp. He's always that kind of weird,
I don't agree with that.
kind of like
he does a lot of
quirky guy. You know what I'm saying?
Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah,
or
the weird quirky guy.
Willy Wonka.
The weird quirky guy.
Nick of Time. Pirates of the Caribbean.
The weird quirky guy. He's always playing that weird quirky guy.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's
always,
typecast.
Not to say it's a bad thing.
He takes a lot of artistic
he plays it up a lot.
chances.
He's great at what he does. But what I'm saying is it's always the same
No,
type
I
of
can't give you that.
No?
Whitey Bulger and Black Bass.
Okay, that's where he pushed himself a little bit. That's where
I think he's pushed himself in almost everything he's done. But let me go back to the black thing. And you know, I know a lot of black men in the community go, you know, because it demeans black men. It takes away our masculinity. Listen, we have to have balance. And if it was nothing but us in dresses, then that would be one thing. But you mean to tell me between Denzel Washington, Sam Jackson, Don Cheadle, Morgan Freeman, God rest his soul, Chadwick Boseman, Anthony Mackie, Michael B. Jordan, and I know there's some names I'm forgetting, Danny Glover. We've had a lot of positive imagery of black men in film to where the images of us in dresses comedically, that's okay. Because in terms of the balance, we've had far more images of us as policemen and doctors and lawyers and, you know, roles that put black men in a great light and a proud, positive light. So, you know, I think the balance is there.
I mean, would you wear a dress in a movie or a TV show?
I have.
Oh, you have?
One of my most famous and beloved sketches on Mad TV is when we had DMX and I played DMX's mother. Yo, dog, He's coming off the road, off tour, and he's like, yo, Ma, these hoes love me for DMX. I want to love me for Earl. And I'm in the granny wig with the glasses and the chain. I got on a dress with Tim's on. And I'm like, yo, son, let's go blaze some trees and talk about these bitches. So,
And it was actually DMX on the show?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, we had DMX. He was a guest star.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah.
He was an actor himself.
Yeah, and then I on Mad TV, we parodied the Clumps, where I did Grandmama Clump, Mama Glue, Hercules. Boy, I had a chain. So yeah.
Okay.
That shit don't fuck with me, man. I know who I am.
Yeah. No, I feel it. And ultimately, you're a comedian. Like, for example, with me, if someone offered me an acting role and I would have to wear a dress in that role, I would just
look horrendous, nigga.
I would look awful. But,
Yes.
but I would also turn it down.
Even if they offered you $1 billion.
No one's going to offer me $1 billion.
But if they offered you $1 billion, you in a dress?
For $1 billion?
You
yes, for
climb
$1
your
billion, I would wear a
Russian
dress.
ass in that dress, nigga.
Absolutely. But if they offered me $100,000, I would turn it down.
Well, because you got 100,000. You got several hundreds of thousands.
I got a few. But no one's offered me $1 billion. That's like, oh, if someone offered you $1 billion to fight Mike Tyson. Turn it down.
You wouldn't do it for $1 million?
Nah, turn it down.
What's the price it would have to be?
$100 million.
For 80, you ain't doing that?
Maybe 80. I'll do it for 80.
I'll smack the shit out you, nigga.
I'll do it for 80.
Me and you could, for 80 mil, me and you could wear the same dress.
The same, we have matching dresses?
Okay. No, not matching. Me and you in the same dress.
No,
together,
I ain't
nigga.
doing that shit. Nah, I'm good. I see that music.
Chest to chest.
I've seen that music video you did, man. I'm good. What?
All the comments is gonna be lit. They gonna be lit. All the homophobia, it's coming.
Well, you had mentioned the Martin show. One of our members, Oren Patty, he said that you once said the Martin show was overrated?
No, I didn't say it was overrated. It just, for me, comedically, it was a bit much. You know what I mean? And again, I'm allowed to have this opinion. It's my opinion. I just thought at times it was over the top. I love good physical comedy, like The Next Man. But, and I know some people will say this was probably one of the funniest episodes, but, and it's an old comedy gag that's been done 1,000 times, where the sweet animal, jumps up in your face and you wrestle with a stuffed animal.
Right.
And, for what felt like on the Martin show, 15 straight minutes of you flopping around and wrestling and doing backflips and making the faces.
Yeah, with the stuffed dog.
With the stuffed dog.
Yeah.
I did, to me, that just, it didn't do nothing for me.
I like the show. I didn't love the show. I like the show.
Right.
But I wasn't religiously watching it like, let's say, a Cosby show.
Right.
That was something I watched religiously.
See, but I'm the same way. I would see it, and if I was,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? But I wasn't like, oh my God,
let's watch
Martin.
an episode.
And listen, I said this before. To me in film, I love Martin in film. On the show, not so much. But on film, I thought Martin, like Mike, he's a scene stealer. He's memorable on film. He says and does a lot of things where you walk away from it and go, damn, that nigga was funny. And that one film he did with Mike, Roscoe Jenkins.
Yeah, welcome home, Roscoe Jenkins.
That fight with Monique. Girl, you better get your big Butterfinger eating ass in the back in the car. Or that part with Michael Clark Duncan when Mike, he said something about his kids eating chitlins, and Mike started walking towards him. He go, man, why you approaching me? Like, Martin's reactions are hilarious to me.
No, Martin was so quick-witted with his jokes and his reactions that when I saw the latest Bad Boys movie or when I watched that, Martin reunion,
Right.
he's not, because he had like a stroke, I think.
Did he?
Yeah. Oh,
Martin?
Yeah, Martin Lawrence had a stroke. Hold on, let me just.
But in the Bad Boys movies, I like Martin more than Will.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the latest one.
Bad Boys 3?
Yeah, he's not the same Martin. He went into a coma after a heat stroke and some other stuff happened, but he's not as quick. Like, you could tell that his brain is just not working in the same capacity.
Really?
Watch the new Bad Boys movie or
I've seen it.
Watch it again and pay attention to what I'm saying.
I mean, listen, you might be right, but in terms of who his character was,
no, the
to
character,
me, it felt like he was right in line
it
with
was
the character.
Same character, but he's not his. he's not as quick-witted as he was.
Really?
He's just not quite the same person. And everyone who I mentioned this to have all caught it. They've all caught it. Yeah. Watch it again. Watch it again. There was a video that came out where this woman was cussing out her baby father because
McDonald's?
Yeah. He brought McDonald's for his kid. There was 3 other kids in there.
Yeah.
There was a lot of debate over whether that was right or wrong. I personally felt like whatever issue you have with a mother, it's not cool to have 3 kids watch 1 kid eat. I've had that happen to me as a kid.
I agree with that.
There's no excuse for that, regardless of the situation. Get the other kids some food off the dollar menu or something, but don't just have 1 kid eat McDonald's. And you know how kids lose their shit over
Let's be
McDonald's.
technical, though. One, it's not his responsibility to do
It's
that.
not.
It's the other kid's fault.
Technically, it's not. But I'm saying just from a moral,
Ethical.
ethical, being around children and knowing that, these kids were not asked to be there. They're just in this situation.
Or he could have taken his son.
Yeah.
And they could have went to go eat. But the thing that bothered me most was her attitude.
Yeah.
Her attitude and the way she was talking to him.
It was foul.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
So that was such a turnoff that it was hard for you to go, yeah, he could have or should have, because she was such a turnoff that it was just like, you didn't want to see, you know what I mean?
Well, we had Fredro Starr from Onyx on the show, and he chimed in. And his reaction was slightly different than most people's. Let me play it for you.
All right, getting to the good part.
Oh, shit.
Woman with 4 baby fathers scolds him because he bought food for his kid and not the other 3 kids.
Oh, my God.
Did you see that video go viral?
Them other kids gonna starve. Fuck that. I ain't buying food for no other fucking kids. You gotta
Bro,
be
are
kidding
you
me.
serious?
Fuck that.
It's
I'ma
McDonald's.
tell my nigga-
It's McDonald's.
This is the fucking...
That's a dollar menu,
This is
Fredro.
what, so fucking what? Who I look like? Where they father at? Or is they father buying my kid food? Listen, but this is the mistake. You don't go to the door and say, here's food, and knowing them other fucking gremlin motherfuckers ain't got no food.
Right.
What he should have said was, yo, tell my little nigga to meet me outside in the motherfucking foreign, nigga, and sit in the seat and eat his McDonald's and listen to some real hip hop, nigga. That's what's supposed to happen. You eat your food, you build with your son in the car, he go there with a little tartar sauce on his mouth, whatever, ketchup, and that's that. They don't see nothing, you ain't eating in front of them, because you're not supposed to eat in front of people's face.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
It's funny because Earthquake, the comedian, put up this clip and he said, if fuck your kids was a person.
Yeah, listen, yeah, I mean, it would be heart-wrenching and foul for the one kid to be eating. Because, if you know how kids are, he'll see his siblings not eating, knowing that they not really his siblings. His smack will be different. You know what I mean? You know how kids are, nigga. It's crunch, but be zestier,
Right. And also, the effect on McDonald's on children. Kids lose their shit over McDonald's. You're not
McDonald's
talking
for
about
kids
bringing
is-
over some Shake Shack or
Yeah,
something.
McDonald's
It's
for kids
McDonald's.
McDonald's for kids is like pussy for adults, pussy for men. You know what I mean? It's chicken McNuggets for kids is like titties for men. You get excited. So yeah, I agree. You take your son elsewhere, or the other father's got to take care of that. That's. But like I said, her attitude was the biggest turnoff for me.
Well, you have kids, right?
Yes,
How many?
3.
3 kids.
Yeah,
Same woman or different women?
2 different baby mothers.
Okay. Do they have other kids as well?
What do you mean other kids as well? Like other siblings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you were bringing food to one of your kids knowing that she has other kids in the house, would you ever just bring food for your kid?
No.
Yeah.
No. No, because I might be trying to fuck the mother at some point.
And that will prevent that from happening.
Prevent that from happening. And I ain't gonna let tartar sauce get in the way of me getting some tartar sauce.
Okay, well, in our last interview, we talked about how Kevin Samuels passed away and how all these women were celebrating his death because some of his views were considered misogynistic and so forth. Since then, Andrew Tate
Yes.
has become the new face of misogyny, I would say, to the point where he's actually been banned off YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
Is what he's saying really that wild?
He has said
Because
some
I've
fucked
seen
up
a
shit.
few things,
Yeah.
but nothing to the point where I'm like, oh, he's out of here.
What he said, which rubbed me the wrong way, because we were actually offered an interview with him and we turned it down.
Right.
And he said stuff like, when you look at the Harvey Weinstein situation, he was like, women have traded sex for privileges their whole lives, throughout history. So some of these women deserve to be raped.
Oh, yeah, that's a you gotta go.
Yeah.
That's a you gotta go. He said that?
Yeah. He even said he moved to Romania because the laws are a lot more lax when it comes to rape.
Yeah. Well, here's what I was going to say. I had never seen anything of that magnitude, but what I always saw was him basically trying to champion for men in terms of masculinity and how women should be a certain way in regards to pleasing a man and respecting manhood. And the clip that was funny was somebody then cut a clip after that, him saying that. I guess he was walking down some street in Hollywood and he had the zestiest walk a man could ever have. And the caption was something about, and this is who y'all look to for masculinity. So that's why I knew of him. I didn't know about that other shit.
Yeah. I mean, when I researched him, he's had basically rape cases and sexual assault cases. When I looked through it, I said, nah, I'm good. I'm not touching that. And actually, I'm glad I didn't because, his entire YouTube channel got shut down.
Really?
Yeah, like literally.
For saying shit like that.
He is not welcome on any social media platform, including TikTok. When the Chinese say, oh, this is too much for us.
Hey, have you ever seen Japanese animation? Them niggas go ham.
I'm talking about Chinese, not Japanese. But
Okay, well, listen, some of that stuff in Asian culture in terms
it's pretty
of
crazy.
It's pretty crazy.
You see like demons raping women and stuff like
man.
that. Yeah. Yeah, it's some crazy
Damn.
shit. But it's interesting how you mentioned the whole zesty thing, because I remember there's this
That
artist
motherfucker
on,
made the Asians go.
like for example, there's a rapper on TDE named Isaiah Rashad. You know familiar who that is?
No.
Isaiah Rashad is a dope rapper on TDE. He's been around for a while. He's got songs with Kendrick and everything else like that. Maybe about a year ago or so, a sex tape leaked with him basically sucking off a bunch of dudes and them.
And there's a new rapper from today's generation?
I would say he's a new rapper. He's probably been around for maybe about 7-8 years.
But he's from this generation.
He's from this generation, right? So he got outed. He's out of the closet. He's gay or bisexual or whatever. End of the day, whatever, his career went on. But I went back and listened to his music, and he's rapping about bitches and money-hungry hoes and broke-ass baby mamas and everything.
But see, that's what I was talking about my Big Boogaloo character. Like, that's why it's like, this shit exists. It's real. It's out there. So, that was the point of the character.
Yeah, and it really got me thinking, right? Because, look, I grew up in the NWA, Eazy-E, hip-hop era.
Right.
And you can't deny that there's a lot of misogyny throughout that music. Bitches, hoes. Like, I never really heard women referred to bitches and hoes until I started listening to NWA, to be honest, as a white kid growing up in the Bay Area.
You should have came to my house, my father and mother. Bitch, I done told you to. Oh, how many goddamn times? But go ahead.
And it got me thinking, right? And listen, as a young person, you start to internalize some of this stuff, and you start to react to women in certain manner by being exposed to this type of music. And it just got me thinking, like, I wonder how many of these dudes were actually gay on the low, and these lyrics really reflected an overall disdain for women. But we didn't know that because we thought that they were all straight. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But yet, that was Isaiah. I'm like, Isaiah Rashad is kind of misogynistic in some of these songs, but he's not into women. He's into men. So,
or maybe it's just, them flowing with the current that allows them to be successful. Because if that's what the formula is, and you're trying to win and you're trying to, come up financially, why change the recipe? If that's what the recipe is and that's what's working.
Yeah. But you have to put yourself, with hip hop, unless you have writers writing all your stuff, you got to put yourself into that music to a certain degree. Yes,
you mean like you got to be real, like you have to live it.
Well, I mean, I think that if you look at all the greatest rappers, they've put their life and story into that music. I don't know any rapper that's completely fabricated that's considered one of the greats, right?
Jadakiss said, why did 85% of these niggas lie in their rhymes? In the Why song.
Okay.
So, you know what I mean? I think it would be fool's gold to believe that, homosexuality in rap just started.
No, it's been there the whole time. It's been there the whole time.
But now it's more on the forefront because times have changed.
Yeah, now you can have a Lil Nas X being as gay as he wants to be. And you could have, Frank Ocean, who could sell a, $20,000 cock ring and people buy it up.
Yeah, and just like homosexuality in rap has always been there, I think also false bravado has. And the ability to, sell your image and sell your music based on knowing how to ride the current. I don't think everybody that's stepped in front of a microphone or been inside of a sound booth has lived that life. Denzel Washington, I remember one time my manager when I first moved to LA was Norm Nixon, Storm and Norman. Played with Magic and the Lakers and Pat Riley. Really close friends with Denzel, John McClane, who at the time was a big-time record guy over at Sony, James Ingram, R&B soul singer, God rest his soul. And, I thought that I could do in front of them what I did in Jersey coming up, which is being around a bunch of grown dudes and be funny and be the center of the room and make people laugh. Because that worked for me in Jersey. But I was around dudes that, factory workers and bus drivers and custodians, their sons and their kids. I played with them. But I'm sitting around, one of the biggest movie stars on the planet, big time record executive, big time recording artist, fucking NBA champion. And it wasn't the same thing. And I remember I was fucking with Denzel because I think he was eating some barbecue and he might have been eating some pork. And I said to him, hey, brother, what you doing eating that pork? Didn't you just play Malcolm X? Think I'm going to get a laugh. And he looked at me with the most serious face and said, you don't have to be a killer to play a murderer, brother. And then I kept trying to be funny and it wasn't working. So finally he said to me, hey, why don't you stop while you're behind? And I heard, in my mind, I heard the Pac-Man noise. Ooh, 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 ooh.
Wait, don't you do a Denzel impression?
Yeah, but I don't do it the way C. King does it, so I retired.
Okay, fair enough.
But moral of the story is, you don't have to be that to be that. You know what I'm saying?
Weren't you in Malcolm X?
I did extra.
Oh, you were an extra?
Yeah, I was extra, yeah.
Okay, because it's listed in the credits.
Yeah, I know, but it shouldn't be. It's not notable. But yeah, man, I think some of these dudes live it, and they practice what they preach. And I think some of these dudes have seen it, and they know enough of it to put it out there like it's what they do.
Oh man, that quit while you're behind.
Yeah,
coming from Denzel,
man.
Which you can't really say nothing about. Well, yeah, well, what about you and your
dude?
Shit?
That's what I'm saying.
I got nothing on you.
When I was growing up in New Jersey and I was being funny, that worked because I'm around regular Joes. But these dudes are the upper echelon of excellence in what they do. So it was a great learning experience.
Yeah.
Like, shut the fuck up and sit down and take it in. I remember another time, I've told this story, when I was doing South to Sunset on CBS, the hour action cop drama show with Glenn Fry from the Eagles. And my stunt double on that show happened to be Eddie Murphy's stunt double on Beverly Hills Cop 3. So I remember, and he knew I'm an Eddie whore. I love me some Eddie Murphy, man. This is my idol. So he was like, yo, man, I'm doing stunt work. I'm Eddie's stunt. Beverly Hills Cop 3. Want to hang out on the set? Hell yeah. So I go to the studio, and they got the big circus tent with the big, huge bus in it with Eddie's trailer. And Fruity is there at the time, Eddie's bodyguard, Uncle Ray Murphy, and Eddie's people. And I go in, and I'm sitting down at the table with all them, and Eddie comes out, strumming his guitar, and shit. He's on break before a shot. And again, I tried to, take over the room and be funny. and I'm cracking jokes. And at one point, Eddie just turned to me and he goes, "Hey man, you keep doing material. Just stop. Just be organic. Take it in and relax, man. But you're doing material. You're trying to be funny. Sit down." Oof. And again, you know what I mean? But it was my first time introduced to that world. So, you know, I was trying to navigate best I could, trying to score. It's like you get in front of Michael Jordan and you're a baller. You want to show him your best moves. You know, you let me show you my crossover, my fadeaway, you know, my step back, you know, so I learned.
I mean, being the Eddie Murphy fanatic you are, what do you think are the 3 best Eddie Murphy movies of all time?
The 3 best of all time?
3 best.
Oh, Jesus. 48 Hours.
That's one.
Beverly Hills Cop 2.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say Trading Places. Even though I feel like I'm supposed to say that, but I really loved Another 48 Hours.
I would put Boomerang in that list.
Nah.
I would put Boomerang in my top 3. Iconic.
Listen, it ain't iconic. And why is it iconic?
There are so many moments in that movie. You just quoted Strange earlier in the interview.
Yes.
John Witherspoon completely murdered it. The mushroom belt.
Let me tell you how I view Eddie.
The interaction with Halle Berry. The whole
Vlad, let me tell you how I view Eddie. I view Eddie like Michael Jordan. That was the Wizards, Eddie. When Eddie Murphy in the 80s, that run between the 80s and 90s, Beverly Hills Cop, Trading Places, 48 Hours, that was Eddie Murphy as Michael Jordan with the Bulls. Boomerang and all of that was Eddie Murphy, Michael Jordan with the Wizards.
I mean,
still the man.
Boomerang came out in 92.
Yeah. I said the 80s, basically all of the 80s, and starting a little bit in the 90s.
92 is still the early part of the 90s.
Okay. But you get what I'm saying? Like, when people talk about Eddie and reminisce over Eddie, they like that raw gutter Eddie. That Eddie that was just went for your jugular. Like gritty Eddie.
Okay.
Eddie got pretty.
Okay.
After a while.
What about Coming to America?
That is a classic. That is a classic.
And he didn't swear in that movie.
You know what? I would take out Trading Places, even though, damn. If I'm gonna take out Trading Places, I'll put Coming to America.
Okay.
But not Boomerang.
Not Boomerang?
And I like Boomerang. I
love Boomerang.
Boomerang was a funny, sophistication, sexy comedy in terms of black professionalism, you know, the combination of Martin, David Allen Greer, you know, Eartha Kitt, the cast. Halle Berry, you just saw black people in a light. I remember I saw Eddie Murphy do an interview. I think it was Jay Leno. And Jay Leno brought up how a critic basically said in so many words, and I'm paraphrasing, how could this movie be realistic? There's no white people in it. As though, and Eddie's point on the panel, as he said to Jay, so basically black people can't be successful and be in business and wear suits and nice clothes unless there's white people to validate that. That's success. And so that's how they viewed Boomerang.
No, I remember I saw Boomerang with a black woman watching it for the first time, you know, who was slightly younger than me. You know, she had just never seen it for whatever reason. Right. And she was just blown away. She was like, yo, this is incredible. This is like, wow, like the whole advertising agency, everyone's an executive.
That's what I'm saying. That it was grown, sexy sophistication.
Yeah.
But when you really talk about Eddie, you want that that 48 hours shit. That was raw, uncut cocaine, Eddie.
Yeah, 48 Hours was dope. I mean,
that Boomerang was Eddie Murphy eating pussy with a bib on. Like you know, you wipe you with a napkin, you dapping your corner lips, and you eat pussy with your pinky up. It was grown, it was sexy, but we want that raw Eddie.
Michael B. Jordan and Lori Harvey broke up.
Oh my God, what am I gonna do?
Were you surprised at all? I actually thought I thought they were going to actually work out. I thought this is going to be the new power couple in Hollywood.
Real question is, did I give a fuck?
No fucks given, huh?
Come on, man. Whatever, man.
I mean, you got to hand it to Steve Harvey. Like, I mean, did you guys come up around the same time?
No, Steve's older than me.
A little bit older.
Yeah, a little bit older than me.
Okay, but I feel like he got into his groove a little bit later in life also. I feel like he was older when he really...
Yeah.
It's not like he was popping as a teenager.
Right.
He was a grown man.
I got to say this about Steve, and maybe I'll get some flack for this. You know, I love it when I peruse through Instagram, and Steve will be giving these deep quotes on what it takes to be financially successful.
Yep.
About discipline and this and the X's and the O's of money. Like, nigga, you got 5 shows on at once. Mm-hmm. Not taking away from your success. You know what I mean? But it's like, I'm not listening to, like, nigga, you're not in the same category as a Grant Cardone or a Bill Gates or a Warren Buffett who's breaking down money and business. You've had 5 shows on, nigga, on primetime television. You give anybody 5 shows, yeah, you're gonna be rich. You're gonna be rich. And again, I'm not trying to diminish his success. Steve's a bad boy. Comedically, Steve's a bad boy. He deserves everything he's gotten, truly. But I'm just like, come on, man.
Well, I mean, he talked about it. There's a video I saw recently where he basically was like, look, Hollywood is a type of business that you walk in and they tell you you're fired right then and there. That day. They say your show's canceled, don't come in to work tomorrow, it's over. And this is why he's always had 7, 8 shows at the same time. So if one falls off, he's got another 7 to fall back on.
But do you know how hard that is to accomplish?
It's hard.
Some dudes go their whole careers and don't get 1 show.
Yeah.
You got 5.
He's got Family Feud.
Come on.
He's got
playing a judge, your own talk show, a show with kids.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Listen, once Hollywood anoints you, once they go, for whatever reason, he's safe, we don't have to worry about X, Y, and Z. Once they anoint you, you're in. It's like Studio 54. If you get past that velvet rope, cocaine for everybody. Blowjobs for everybody.
Well, and you actually make a good point. I never really thought about it that way. Steve is successful because he works so much being the leading man in all of his projects.
Yes.
As opposed to, let's say, a Tyler Perry who said, yes, I'll keep doing Medina movies here and there.
It's a different grind.
But I'm going to build the biggest studio in America.
It's a
I'm
different
going to build a
grind.
film company. I'm going to own a piece of BET Plus and so forth and so
I swear,
forth.
I feel like I'm going to get flack for that. I'm just saying it.
I don't think it's flack.
Like
I think it's a good point.
When Warren Buffett or Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk is breaking down business and money and financial literacy, which at times can be very complex for people to understand. Mm-hmm. Class is in session. But I'm just going, Steve, nigga, you've had 5 television shows. That's the easiest way to get rich is get a television show or have a movie career. You can do 1 show and make 5, 6 figures a week. A week. That's a very different grind. So,
Yeah, you're right. Steve never really bothered to build a business that didn't involve him. Now, I don't know his business like that. So maybe he has businesses that I'm not aware of, but from what I have seen, he's just doing a lot of shows and he's always the man on camera in all these shows.
It's a wonderful position to be in.
You're right. And he's making tens of millions of dollars, maybe even hundreds of millions of dollars doing it. But he's now talking about retiring as well. And
Okay.
I can see why.
Yes.
It's like, yo.
And he ain't like he a spring chicken.
No, he's like, what, in his 60s at this point?
Yeah.
Right. And he talks about how he only sleeps like 5 hours a night. If he gets 6, that's considered like, oh my God. Like,
right. I want you to tell me something. And again, this is where, when I say this, some people will go, there's a bitter and a jealousy from Aries. And I'm just going, just try to put that aside and see if you can see where I'm coming from. So on Mad TV, sometimes you'd have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, drive to the studio, because you knew you were doing a character where you were going to be put in prosthetics. So you have to sit in the makeup chair. You have to get up at 5 to be to work in the chair at 6. For 3 hours, you got on these prosthetics to do a character that you created, This isn't like a sitcom where you come in with a character pre-written. You came up with this. You come up with the beats, the humor, what the character does, the personality, the voice, everything, in an attempt to be as funny as you can be and score. Then when that character is over, you got to go back in the makeup chair and for another 2 hours, sit and have it taken off. And on a sketch show, you got to come up with characters. You got to compete with other cast members for stage time. You got to have the ability to do impressions. You have to have the ability to improvise. These are all different comedic skill sets because everybody can't do a character. Everybody can't do an impression. Everybody can't improvise off the dome. These are three different, unique, complex comedy skill sets. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, on Mad TV, we might have been pulling, let's say, depending on your contract, what year you're in, $20,000 a week. And you got to do, like I said, heavy makeup, characters, impressions, improvise. We're on a sitcom like Friends. You're coming in doing jokes that are pre-written, characters that are pre-written. And let's be honest, a lot of these jokes are ba-doom boom jokes. Set up, punchline. Very basic shit. They're pulling $1 million a week. $1 million a week.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of skill set, in terms of ability, I'm surrounded by people on Mad TV that you gotta bring it. And in comparison to what Friends is making, with far less work, far less grind, far less required ability, skills. How would it make you feel?
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
At the end of the day, Friends had a bigger audience for whatever reason.
Well, they were
Right?
prime time. We're Saturday night.
Right.
So, you know, I'm not gonna, sweep that under the rug.
Because remember, Friends, people, every so often, people bring up Living Single.
Right.
And say, oh, Friends basically ripped off Living Single, gave them a white cast, and earned 20 times the money.
Right.
Right? But for whatever reason, but there's also lots of white sitcoms that flopped, that didn't do as well as Living Single. For whatever reason, a certain amount of magic happened on that show, Friends. Right?
Right.
People became stars. Jennifer Aniston became a star.
Absolutely.
After that show. You take Jennifer Aniston out of that show, it might have flopped. Right?
Right.
With TV and media, you just don't know. So yes, it is a lot less work for Jennifer Aniston to do Friends than to put on prosthetics.
I'm just saying.
But it's also a unicorn.
What I'm ultimately getting at is when you know, in terms of what you do, the talent, like you feel like you want to be compensated for your skills and for your level of talent and what you bring to the table. And when what you bring to the table in terms of your compensation doesn't come close to what's going on over here, knowing that the requirement and the skill level is far less. How does that, you get what I'm saying? Like, how does that sit with you?
Do you feel that
It's not an easy thing to swallow.
I feel you. But do you think to a certain degree, like when you look at your own career, do you feel that you didn't get to a certain level because you didn't play the game of networking, schmoozing, maybe some people feel you're difficult to work with, and so forth. Maybe you're abrasive, you said a few things, whereas you look at someone like a Kevin Hart who managed to maneuver his way
I think it's a combination
into a position that he's getting movies
I think it's a
every
combination of all of it. Certainly, and I've said this and I'll continue to say it, certainly there have been things where I can go, I'm responsible for that. Either something I said or did or didn't do. But again, I own up to that because again, from where I come from who I am comedically, that's in my soul. That's to go for the jugular and to be funny as I can be and be raw. That's just my makeup. And, you know, you got to lie in your own bed. And there are also things that have happened where, you know, it's unfortunate. Maybe if I navigated differently, had somebody pull my coattails, I might have done it in a way where the outcome would be different, or maybe not. You know, you are who you are, and what drives you drives you. Listen, and I will say till I'm blue in the face, Kevin Hart is comedically a monster. Mm-hmm. He's a super talent. When I watch him, when I watch him give interviews, he's got this thing on Netflix where he's interviewing people in what looks like a wine cellar or basement. Yeah. And he had Don Cheadle. Right.
Interview Jay-Z.
Okay, and he had Don Cheadle on, and Don Cheadle said, look, man, I'm 50. He said his age. And Kevin went, damn. And then there was a pause. He went, I'm sorry. And it was the funniest shit. Kevin is funny in interviews, movies, everything he does. Stand up. He's a monster. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I'm not taking nothing away from him in that sense. But, and I know this is where people, you know, this is one of those moments where I go, see, it's what you say. But I'm saying this tongue in cheek. I'm saying this jokingly. You know, he's Capri Sun comedy. I'm Hennessy, nigga. And I say that jokingly. And I know people will run with that and try to depict that as me trying to be an asshole. But you know what I'm saying. Okay. He's very safe. He's very Madison Avenue, very family.
Yeah.
I am Onyx, Slam, MOP, Annie Up. I'm that dude.
Okay. But let's just keep it 100, right? Because you and I have known each other for a while. Now, I'm not talking about just talent level or so forth, but you and I have had behind the scenes issues, you know, in terms of our working relationship. I remember at one point you asked me to take down all your old clips. And I said,
but there was a specific reason for that.
I said no.
Right.
And this is what I mean. Like sometimes the behind the scenes stuff affects what happens in terms of the whole business. You and I were able to just get over it. You know what I mean? And get past that.
I never thought it was that serious.
Yeah.
I asked you to take something down for a specific reason. And you didn't, and that's fine.
Right. Well, you said all your old interviews, and I said,
well, no, that was for a very specific reason at that time.
Right.
The second thing that I was more bothered by was my thinking was, listen, one hand should wash the other. If I'm trying to get my podcast off the ground, knowing that you generate the kind of numbers you generate, if I say to you, yo, Vlad, help me out. I do these interviews. I help your numbers be what they are. Yo, pump my podcast, man. You know, make it so that people understand after all these interviews, when they get thousands, hundreds of thousands of views, millions even, that people know to go here for my podcast.
Right.
Now, you said, okay, I'll put it in the links.
Yep.
Which you do.
Yep.
But if I'm being honest with you, that don't get the kind of looks, because I don't think people look at what it is when they go, Aries Spears interview Vlad, and then they go searching within the links. If you could do it my way, the way I would love it at the end of every interview, before you fade out, I get in this camera and go, yo, check my podcast, or hit me in my DMs on Instagram so I can send you the links. That to me is more effective.
What's the name of the podcast again?
Spears and Steinberg. Hit me up on Instagram, slide in my DMs, I'll send you the links. But again, I know, as you said to me, it's VladTV, baby. You do your thing how you do your thing. But I'm going in conjunction with this partnership.
Right.
Just do me the solid, man.
I feel
edit that in on every fucking episode.
Right. I was talking more about the taking the clips down and so forth.
Yeah, but
I was talking about that. You know. But what I'm saying is that ultimately, not everyone is able to get past business differences. With us, we were able to do that. I said, whatever. We'll get past that. We'll keep moving. Someone else might say, we filmed all this stuff. Now he's asking me to take it down. This guy's too difficult to work with. I'm not going to work with him anymore. And you see what I'm saying? And in the business, like this type of things happen. And you know, look, I'm a movie executive. I got a million people kicking down my door to be in these movies. I'm going to work with the people who I find the easiest to work with. And I'm sure that Kevin is probably one of those people. I'm sure working with Kevin.
What you talking about in terms of people working with him?
Yeah, or him working with other people.
Yeah, listen, again, well, and also when you've generated the kind of revenue that he has,
right?
He's got the golden key now. He's the golden child,
right?
You know, again, I always say the one thing that's very irritating about this business is it's high school. People don't do self-evaluation. They go off of what they hear.
Yeah.
I think people should do self-investigation and go, yeah, I heard, but let me talk to him. Let me sit down and have a one-on-one and feel it out and look in his eyes and hear the tone in his voice and let me go from there. Mel Gibson was noted for doing something that I thought was brilliant. He never auditioned anybody. When he would see actors for a potential role, he just sat down and he talked to them, a one-on-one. And at the end of it, he'd either go, yeah, you got it. Based on that, not an audition. And what I love about that is he's an actor. So he's approaching it as an actor. And not some guy in a fucking suit. And I just, this game is real high school, man. The goths sit with the goths, you know what it is. The nerds with the nerds, the preps with the preps, jocks and jocks. Yeah. It's real high schoolish. And I'm just going, fuck what you heard. Talk to me.
I went on Twitter the other day and I made a tweet. And I knew this would cause all types of chaos. I said, to me, the biggest difference between Nicki Minaj and Lil Kim is that Kim also had straight male fans. Men appreciate Nicki, but I don't know any that would ride around listening to her. Guys were listening to Lil Kim when she was out. This got thousands of retweets, thousands of comments, thousands of likes. All the Nicki Minaj fans came at me and said, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, and I'm old and white, so I shouldn't even have an opinion on this and so forth. But as someone who's old enough to remember, I feel that Kim was one of the few female artists that I think that men actually fucked with and actually listened to. I know that I listened to Lil Kim's first album a lot. And a lot of it was probably due to the Biggie affiliation.
She was raw, man.
But I thought she was dope.
Listen, I'll throw another name out there along with her. Foxy Brown.
Another one, correct.
Yeah.
But she also, I felt, tried to appeal to a male fan base. She was talking about flipping bricks and, you know what I'm saying? And she sort of had a hard...
I'll go back further than that. I'll give you 80s. MC Lyte.
MC Lyte, another one.
Yeah.
Who also appealed to men.
Yes.
And listen, at no point did I say that Nicki is not uber talented. She is. She's phenomenally talented. But I think that she specifically said, at a certain point, said, look, I'm not going to try to make these men happy. I know that people who really fuck with me are women and gay men. And I'm
Strong J.
And I'm going to go full blown
Strong J, y'all.
And completely embrace this real fan base that I already have.
Right.
And end up becoming a major pop star in the process.
Right.
Kim still tried to like be gutter and still, you know, although she had the wigs and the plastic surgery and everything, I felt that like, dudes was riding around listening to Lil Kim. And Nicki just doesn't have that. And motherfuckers was upset. People made videos about me. People, like literally thousands of retweets. Like the Kim and Nicki fans are fighting in the mentions and so forth. But I mean, Kim was special in terms of what she did. You know, Lauryn Hill's another one.
Yeah.
Dudes fucked with Lauryn Hill.
Yes.
Miseducation?
Yes.
One of the greatest hip-hop albums, period, male, female, otherwise, period.
At the end of the day, you know, if you build it, they will come, man.
Yep.
You know?
Before I let you go, one of your fellow comedians, Teddy Ray, passed away at 32 years old. You know who that is?
No.
Let me show you what he looks like. This is Teddy Ray right here.
Oh, yeah, I don't know who that is.
You know,
I saw the pictures, but I don't know who.
Well, he was a comedian. He was big, you know, on the internet and so forth. He was only 32 years old. He passed away from falling and drowning in a pool.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
And I just want to say, man, to all the parents out there, teach your kids how to swim.
How old was he?
32.
Oh, wow. He didn't know how to swim?
He drowned in a pool. I mean, I'm assuming that's from lack of knowing how to swim.
Damn.
Basically, I guess he was staying at some guy's house, and the next day they came out and just found him floating in the pool.
Oh, wow.
So many kids don't know how to swim. I remember there was a couple stories. I remember the guy who signed Carl Crawford, who signed Megan Thee Stallion, had a house party, and a kid fell in a pool and drowned, and a woman who jumped in the pool to try to save him drowned herself. You know what I mean? You just see, you know, in certain communities, and I'm not going to say the black community, but it's just like, I think in lower income communities where people don't have access to pools.
You could, I know you don't want to say it because you're white, But that's been said.
And it's just unfortunate that a grown man who never learned how to swim would die such a preventable death. Like, look, you could say, well, you should have eaten better and you died of diabetes, you know, whatever, you weren't wearing your seatbelt, but like, anyone could learn how to swim. Swimming is such a basic activity that could be learned really in a few days. That it breaks my heart that a grown man that was on his way to becoming successful and was already very well known and so forth, and the same thing that you do, just fell in a pool and died.
Yeah, that's tragic. Yeah.
Do you know how to swim?
Yes.
Do your kids know how to swim?
Yes. But I think you kind of hit the nail on the head a little bit. I mean, everybody don't have access.
Yeah. If you've never been to a pool.
Right.
You don't have one in your backyard.
Right.
You may not have one in your community. You end up becoming an adult who doesn't know how to swim.
Yeah. I haven't swam in a long time, but I'm assuming it's like riding a bike, you know.
Yeah, man. It just broke my heart, man, when I heard that.
Man, we had to end on such a somber note. But we all having an orgy. This motherfucker showed up with heroin. God damn, nigga.
We're not gonna end on that note. What do you got coming up next?
I'm on the road, man. I got some dates on the road. I'm in Dallas, Austin. I'm in Nyack, New York. I'm gonna be, like I said, unless this Lizzo thing really gets me in trouble. I'm supposed to do Wildin' Out with Nick Cannon.
Okay. Have you done shows since the Lizzo thing?
What, stand up?
Yeah.
No. Matter of fact, I had the week off. I was crazy busy. I hardly ever get time off. Okay. So I had a week off, and that's when the Lizzo shit popped off.
So you don't even know how the crowds are going to react to this thing yet?
No. But you know what? I'm going to be in Austin, Texas. It'd be different if I was, you know what I mean, somewhere like in down south where a lot of big black folks, black women was going to be. But I'm
there's not big black women in Austin, Texas?
Yeah, but it's, that's more of a melting pot, I think, than, let's say, if I was in Alabama or, you know what I mean, Georgia somewhere, And I really, again, I don't think it's that big of a deal, man. I really don't.
This is the most viral I think I've seen you, though.
Maybe, but, it ain't like, I remember, I recently saw Vice TV, which I'm actually on this thing, Dark Side of Comedy. It's called, they're doing a thing called Dark Side of Comedy. First two episodes, Chris Farley, Andrew Dice Clay. I think I'm in one about Roseanne, but remember they showed the Andrew Dice one, and when he had all the heat on him because of the misogynistic and the homophobic jokes, and he went to go host SNL, which I know he did, but I didn't know, and they showed the footage where he's doing his monologue and like 4 or 5 hecklers, I mean, just aggressively are going at him. What about the thing you said and da-da-da? And the way he kept his composure and was able to still do the monologue, I was like, hell, man, that's crazy. Well, so I'm just saying, like, I really don't think it'll be that.
Yeah, I remember he actually started to cry. I think when he was
was on Arsenio.
On Arsenio, exactly. I remember I was actually watching it live. He started getting hecklers and he was like...
No. On Arsenio, he didn't get no hecklers. He was just explaining... Arsenio gave him a chance to explain because it was before the opening of Ford Fairlane, his movie, his major movie. And he just wanted, to kind of throw some water on some of the controversy as far as, hey, this is who I am. I'm a dude from such and such who bust his ass to get to where I am. And then that's when he got emotional.
Yeah, to become the biggest comic in the world, which at the time he was.
Yeah, he was.
At that moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I remember he came out with the nursery rhymes, like, Mary, Mary, quite contrary, shave that
little
pussy.
Boy Blue, he needed the money. Yeah, all of that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he had a very quick rise from that, and then with that comes the microscope, which, you see the Joe Rogan, like you see... All that fame comes at a price.
But it's almost like fame. You said about dude who said the stuff about women being raped. Some of his gay jokes and women jokes, they were almost at that level. So it was just like, damn. Like it was like damn at that level. Especially the gay jokes.
What did he say that was so bad?
They say in the episode, again, like we know comedy is subjective. But a lot of the comedians that were commented were like, at some point, it goes from feeling like comedy to rallies. And you become like a deity. I guess you say that word, deity or deity. Like you become their god, the way they chanting you and dice, 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 and are repeating your shit. And it starts to feel like it's not comedy anymore. I think there was this one joke he told where he said, you know, these fucking people, they're like urine colored. You know, they're not black, then they're white. Talking about Muslims. And he goes, I get in the car and I'm looking at the guy and he's looking at me. He's like, like, if you don't know the language, and then that's when he gets the crowd to say all at once, get the fuck out of the country. So, you know what I'm saying? That starts to feel like hate speech. It starts to feel like a rally.
I mean, wasn't Patrice O'Neal had the same type of misogynistic stuff during his heyday? And
Nah,
so forth?
but weak women would say that. But Patrice was a surgeon. He was a brilliant comedic genius. Patrice was the type of dude where he could say some shit, and before he said it, even if your stance was, I ain't gonna laugh at that shit, it's misogynistic, by the time he got done, you went, all right, I see that angle. I can see that. Patrice was a brilliant beast, man.
You knew him?
I didn't know him. We had one great exchange that I'll always cherish, where I did a comedy club in Miami. And I went to a radio station, and the dudes at that time, real popular #1 morning show, they really verbally thrashed me because I wouldn't be their dancing monkey in the studio. So they talked all kind of shit about me. I heard it in the car leaving the station. I told the driver, turn the car around. And I went back up and confronted him, and the shit got real heated. And Opie and Anthony played the clip, and me and Patrice were there that day, and we all talked about it. And it was just a really funny, great exchange, man.
Yeah, man, rest in peace. The last time I saw him, it was at a roast. Was it
Charlie Sheen, right?
the Charlie Sheen roast? Yeah. There you go. I think he passed shortly afterwards.
Yeah.
So you got to see him in his glory.
Yeah, he had that great joke where he said to Mike Tyson, I'm not comfortable with how comfortable white people are around you now. Fucking great.
Yeah, man, Mike Tyson is still Mike Tyson. You saw what happened to him on that flight.
Yeah.
That one guy.
Listen, man, I tell people, man, I think it's beautiful. The man has found his feng shui. You know, he's found his inner peace. Because we all thought that, you know, when he was on that rage bender in the 90s or in some of the 2000s, he was going to either end up in jail or dead, a statistic as a black man.
Oh, yeah.
But he found his inner peace. But I always tell people, don't be fooled, man. A lion is still a lion. It's not a house pet. So you can hang around Mike and he'll be cool with him. But if you say the wrong shit or do the wrong thing, Sickfield and Roy have entered the chat.
Right, I mean, that happened to me, remember? Like
with him?
When I interviewed Mike Tyson.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah. Zip was kind of the go-between between like Puffy and all the Southside Crips.
Maybe.
You know, what is it, you know, here you are, this multimillionaire, and, you know, it seems like you've always been attracted to the guys that are still in the streets to a certain degree. Do you think that's a fair statement?
You think I'm attracted to them?
Well, not attracted to them, but I mean, you like having them around. You're friends with them and you
You
maintain
think I like
this.
having them around?
I'm just asking.
You think I'm friends? What do you think? You think I like having them around?
I don't know. You just spoke nicely about Zip, so I just thought.
Yeah, you know who these guys are? When you talk, what do you say about me? I'm this big, whatever I am, right? But know who those guys are? Those are the guys that when I'm, whoever I am is a nobody, I'm here, those are the guys that live in the same building with me. They give my mother salt or sugar if they need, or milk. They're the same guys.
He was like, what you mean by,
Yeah.
yeah.
What do you mean funny? Funny how?
Yeah.
Like clown your abuse?
Yeah.
I had a Joe Pesci Goodfellas moment.
You was about to have two assholes.
It was actually scary. But you know something? I mean, but he actually said kind of the same thing that you said when I was interviewing. He goes, you didn't expect me to be here right now the way I am, did you? Like, you probably think that I wouldn't have made it this far.
Right.
And I'm like, I mean, it's an interesting point.
Yeah.
It's an interesting point. I didn't think that Mike Tyson would be doing cartoons with a talking pigeon.
Right.
But
yeah.
lo and behold,
Yeah.
I didn't think that Mike Tyson would do a monologue stand-up on Broadway.
Right.
But lo and behold.
And you know, despite all the bullshit, he's become somewhat beloved.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's really like, he has this really interesting wisdom and perspective about it. Like I remember one of the things that he said during the interview was, it takes a woman to make you feel like a man. And I was like, oh shit.
It does, but it also
does.
can take a woman to make you feel like less than a man.
Correct.
Yeah.
But without a woman, you don't fully feel like a man. As a straight man. Now,
What?
gay, bisexual men will probably disagree with that, but I'm saying as a straight man, it's that connection to a woman that really makes you who you are.
What did James Brown say? It's a man's world, but it ain't nothing without a woman or a girl.
There
But
you
let
go.
you tell it, Kodak Black is on that same level.
That's how we're going to end it. Aries Spears. Until
Yeah.
next time.
Yeah.
Peace.